Everybody, welcome back for another week of Velocity Motorsports here. We are at Rockingham tonight. The drivers are out on track right now for the practice session, getting ready to go into qualifying. And we've got all of 19 drivers so far on track for this event tonight at Rockingham for Velocity Motorsports, race number 6 in uh, North Carolina here. Shad, Rockingham's a tough track for anybody to get out here. It's an old style track. It doesn't exist currently in NASCAR, but they are bringing it back closer and closer to actually coming back for these, maybe a cup race or a truck race. Either way, would love to see the NASCAR trucks or Xfinity or Cup out on this track at Rockingham tonight. Shad, this track, it's like I said, it's a tricky one. It's a little less than a mile long. It's not quite Bristol style. It's got flat banks or flat straightaways. Kind of, they're still a little bit angled, and those corners are right around the same banking as Bristol. But it feels like you're going faster almost. Looking at the practice and everything you know about the drivers, do you have any information about fuel tonight? Do you have any information about how the drivers are feeling at this tricky track called the Rock?
Yeah, so talking with a couple of the drivers, I think our fuel range for tonight's going to be somewhere in the ballpark of 50 to 52 laps. But these drivers are going to be wanting to come down to the pit road way before that, as the tires are going to be extremely hurting, and we're going to see the pace fall off. Not by half a second, a second. These cars are going to be running about a half a second slower, or a second and a half slower than what they start out on. Um, but yeah, so with that first stage, 65 laps, Kurt, it means no one can make it without pitting. But as far as when it comes to Rockingham, it's a track that I've only ran one race at, and it was last season in the HDL series, and it was not fun. Um, this track is extremely hard to find the speed, but once you find it, um, I think you can figure it out. But tricky spots at this track, Kurt, coming out of turn two, the banking change of where it goes from extremely banked to just all of a sudden flat will kind of remind you of coming out of the turns of Dover. But with this old asphalt, it's really slick when you make that transition from bank to flat. So these guys are going to be patient on throttle coming out of turn two, especially turn four. It's a little tricky coming out of, but it's not as bad. But my suggestion to these drivers tonight are hold on to those tires as long as you can, and not be over aggressively with the throttle like we were, kind of last week. I think the guy that can figure out how to be maybe on that half to 3/4 throttle, and not burn his tires up was going to be someone that's going to be up to the front either at the beginning of the run or make their way up after the tires get worn. So that's my key notes for tonight for the Rock.
Well, I mean, these drivers are out here, a lot of them looking for that first one of the season. We've got only 3 different winners this season. Nick Gowan with one there, and Nate Mon with last week's win. Um, Obviously, we've also got Ryan Crooks who's in the field or should be in the field tonight. But I mean, those 3 drivers have been pretty dominant at being at front. We've got Jovi Ray, who has been a perennial top 3 finisher. He's finished second. I don't know how many times now. He's finished in the top 3 at least 5 times. He's right on the verge of getting that win. He's just got to kick through that door. He's got an average finish of second. So that tells you how consistent he has been since he has joined this league at Velocity. I believe it was the second or third race of the season when all these guys jumped in, like Nate Mon, Jovi Ray, Ryan Crooks, and several others all jumped in at that time. And they've all climbed up pretty high. Right now, looking at the points, Nick Gowan sitting on the top with 242 points, with an average finish of sixth with that one win. Jovi Ray sitting there in second with an average finish of second with 191 points. So he's creeping in with one less race than what Nick has, and he's within striking distance if he can keep clawing at Nick. But the problem is Nick consistently is finishing the top 3, top 5 every single race too. Sitting in second, tied with Jovi Ray for that 191 points, is Jose Ruiz, and Chad, we talked about him last week as being that stealthy top 5 finisher. He's consistently finishing in the top 10 for sure. He's got an average finish of 8th. Tyler Belanger didn't have a great week last week, but he's sitting 4th in the points with 186, so only 5 points back from being from 2nd with Jovi Ray and Jose Ruiz. Wesley Jeanette sitting right there in 5th as well with 180. John Osborne, Chad, our Championship 4 driver last season, currently sitting 6th in the points. Nate Mon, with his win last week, has an average finish of 3rd in all the races that he's been at, and he's missed 2 this season, and he's still in the top 10 in points, Chad. Bill Hills sitting 8th. Kind of a silent killer there. We don't talk about Bill Hills a whole lot, except for when we see him in the top 10, which is usually apparently towards the end of a race. He's got an average finish of 11th, but he's sitting there with 165 points. He's not too far out. If he can have some really good finishes here and some other drivers out in front of him in the points can have some bad ones. Jason Blaney sitting there in 9th last season, got 2 wins. Hasn't had really the car to be at the front with Nick Gowan, Jovi Ray, and several others this season, but he's been fast. He just doesn't have the finishes at all. Chris Murphy, Shad, finally cracks the top 10. He is our 10th and final driver right now in the top 10 with 158 points. So that week last week of finishing the top 4 definitely propelled him in the points. He needed a quick rebound as he's had bad race after bad race, 4 straight weeks. Or 3 straight weeks, and then last week, or no, four straight races bad, and then the first time he's ever finished in the top 5 this season, finishing there last week at Dover. So a good rebound for him, but I'm seeing a lot of the same driver, Shad, that we keep seeing each week in this top 10 right now in practice. Nick Gowan being one of the fastest in practice with Nate Mon, who got the win last week. Those two are sitting 1st and 2nd in practice. Sean Walton in the 10, Shad, has been really fast in this practice, but we don't see him with the finishes. Same with Hunter Bailey. He's been semi-fast this season. He's been right around hovering from 5th to 15th, somewhere in there in almost every single race, and he's sitting 4th fastest. Austin Walton in the 9, who was really fast last season but had no strategic value at all when he came to races. He semi picked it up in the first couple races, but has not really had the finishes either. He's sitting there 5th in fastest in practice. You were just down talking with Chris, Chad, who's now 6th fastest in this thing. I don't know who to look at this race. This track is a tricky one. I feel like Nick is probably got an advantage because I know he raced here in the trucks a few weeks ago in AAR, and I'm pretty sure he won that race. Ryan Crooks would be another one that I think would be really fast here because he just ran it in the trucks over in the Spartan Challenge Series for iRock TV. So those two are who I'm usually watching anyways, and I think those two could be the fastest. But I think Nate Mon might have a shot in the dark here to get a 2 straight wins, Chad.
Yeah, I honestly don't know because I mean most leagues, they don't come to Rockingham because it is such a difficult track. Even though in real life, I mean this track was known for lead changes. I think in one race, part of the history of Rockingham, they had 37 lead changes in the race. I mean, if NASCAR has 37 lead changes right now in 3 races, that's really good. So.
Yeah, that would be saying something.
Yeah, so I mean, the style of racing that this track provided back in the day was amazing, and which is why us, fans that are, 30 years and older, we remember what it was like racing here, and we want it back. And luckily, North Carolina's governor allocated the $40 million to go to 3 tracks. This being one of them, the other being North Wilkesboro and Charlotte. We're hoping that it'll eventually come back, and the new track owners will put the necessary funds into the track to update the seating and the safety and everything that goes on with what's required now by NASCAR. And maybe one day it will come back, but I'm not going to hold my breath because obviously, I mean, look how long it's taken for North Wilkesboro to come back. So, but. Yeah, as far as the pick card, I have no idea for tonight. I mean, Nathan Mon's right up there in practice, like you said, Nick Gowan. Those two right now, but Ryan Crooks, I don't see him on the board yet, so I don't know if he's in here. So I mean, those 3 have been really strong. Can't count out Jovi Ray, who's been the bridesmaid the last 4 races, I think. Either 4 races or has been the bridesmaid or third place. So. And I'm still waiting for, Jason Blaney. Still waiting for him to make a, come through and maybe get that win finally. And like you said, Jose Ruiz. This is a track that's known to eat tires. I've seen Jose be able to conserve tires with the best of them, and like you were saying, he's quietly in the top three in points, and we haven't really talked about him. That's what's amazing. So, um, I can't wait for this race to start. A lot of laps, and these guys are gonna have to be patient because if not, it's gonna turn into a demolition derby.
Which we got our good buddy Repeat out there saying, "What's going on, gents?" Trying to use that Repeat voice of my own. He says, "Good luck to everybody."
What's going on, everybody?
What's going
This is
on?
Repeat 1975. Yeah.
But yeah, he's out there saying good luck. Thank you, Pete, for tuning in. Should be a great race tonight. Usually this group here, they usually have somewhere between 30 drivers, right around there. Right now, I'm looking at 26 in the field as of right now, with still some time before this thing kicks off for qualifying. But Shab, why don't we try to cycle through and find some drivers that are in the top 10 in points and just try to talk to them here a little bit. You heard me ring off the top 10 there. I don't know if you can find any of them. Nick Gowan, Jovi Ray, Jose Ruiz, Tyler Belanger, Wesley Jeanette, John Osborne, Nathan Mon, Bill Hells, Jason Blaney, and Chris Murphy would be the top 10.
Let's get Jose.
All right. So Shad's going to work on pulling up Jose Ruiz out there in that 23 car. We'll talk to him about his silent killer status right now of being in the top 10. He's consistently finishing the top 10. He's got that 23 car right up in the top 2 in points. Jose, welcome to the booth at Swats and Shadowlack. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, Bud is up.
All right, but just want to talk to you about tonight's race at Rockingham and Velocity. Obviously, like I said, I'm calling you the silent killer right now because we don't talk about you being in the top 3 at the end of the race, but you seem to always find yourself in the top 10 or pretty close to it. You've got an average finish right now of P8, and you're sitting second in the points, tied with Jovi Ray, who's finished second or third in, I think, almost every race he's been in this season besides the one over at the Sonoma one that we had, but he would have finished second there. But how are you able to accomplish all of this with all these skilled drivers? There's so many people in the field that potentially could be the winner, and you're consistently finishing in the top 10 against these guys.
Mainly just minimize mistakes. I know in Road America, I'm not very good on road courses, but I still somehow managed to finish fifth. I think I stayed on the course for every lap except maybe I think I overshot that last corner or the third to last corner horribly, but I didn't wreck the car, so that kind of salvaged a good finish. But I mean, that's the main thing, just to minimize mistakes. I know last week, especially, I'm not very good at a Nashville Super Speedway for some odd reason, but just played the pit strategy right and somehow managed I think I got 10th or something like that. But I mean, that's the main thing for me is just don't make any mental errors and just don't mind what's going on around you, unless it's a wreck, obviously. But other than that, just got to stay focused.
Well, speaking of wrecks, Jose, watching the guys here in practice and watching a lot of guys getting loose coming out of two. Right now you currently find yourself, I think, 17th on the practice sheet. With with qualifying going to be coming up next, is that something you're trying to maybe get quicker at so you don't have to start in this mid pack with all these guys wrecking into where your night could be ruined here really quickly?
Yeah, definitely messing with the brake bias here. I know the main thing here is to not burn up your tires because the track is very unforgiving on tires if you burn them up too soon. So, but I'm gonna keep going here. Like I said, try to mess with the brake bias. I normally run really low brake bias, but we'll see here. And off of two, that's still tricky. I feel the car wanting to slip from under me, so just gotta with that just fix the not jumping the gas so early. I think that's what some of these guys are doing. But I mean, I love this track. The track's fun. It's a tire saver. Don't make any errors. But yeah, we'll see how it goes though.
Yeah, it's something I kind of suggested to your teammate Chris Murphy was kind of run this track like Darlington, where you want to be towards the. I mean, you don't have to be up against the wall here, but you want to be up higher through the turns, and then cut down lower, kind of like on the exit of turn 2 at Darlington, where you're not really full throttle until you're over that hump and on the straightaway. So that's kind of what I suggested to him, and he kind of picked up some speed. So maybe he can bounce that off to you and show you what he did.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. Generally here, I don't really like running the middle lane because I don't know. To me, it feels like I'm burning tire. So I don't know if you guys were watching, but I've been trying to keep it really low to the white line there around both turns. So I mean, hopefully we had a good long run here, and hopefully the tires will. I can improve my spot here, depending where I qualify.
All right, Jose. Well, we're going to send you back down to your teammates for you to get ready for qualifying here in a little bit. But good luck to you, and keep on being that silent killer and getting those top tens.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Yep. All right, Shad, send him back down to his teammates and search for another driver if you would. Got a bunch of new cams for tonight, brought to you by the Felix group there that sent me I got the pack from. So I really appreciate those cams that they got, the drone cam, the drone scenic cam that floats all around the track completely, not specifically following one car, but will float the entire way around this track on a lower angle than the blimp, so you'll be a little closer to the track, being able to feel those cars going around this just short of a mile track. And victory lane's right there on the infield too. We've seen a couple cars sliding across the grass, going through that checkered plating, but that's where victory lane is. So hopefully the winner knows that, and we'll pull down there for their victory celebration after the race when we do the post race. But Shad, I don't know who you're looking at bringing, but I'm sure it'll be a good one out of the top 10.
Go Wesley Jeanette.
All right. So Shad's going to work on pulling Wesley Jeanette up here, who's currently sitting in the top 10 in the points as well. Had some good runs there lately. He's sitting fifth in the points right now at 180 points. So, Wesley, thank you for coming up to the booth. You're here with Swats and Shadilak. How are you doing tonight, bud?
Hey, I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. Enjoying the scenery at the Rock. Can't wait till this track gets finished up here in North Carolina. I know they got it redone, and they've got the walls back up, and they're working on doing the seating and things like that for a future event. Hopefully, maybe I'm even predicting that this might be the All-Star race next year, since the All-Star race this year is at North Wilkesboro that they finished up recently and finally got some practice on it and stuff. So, but how are you doing tonight at the track for practice? How's the car feeling? Are you picking up anything? Is this track look as slippery as it looks here in the booth with cars sliding everywhere out of turn 2 and turn 4?
Yeah. Coming out of turn 2 is you got to get the right angle there for sure. She'll come out from underneath you. Yeah, I've learned a lot. Luckily, the track temp's a little lower than we had last night in the practice race. It was even probably 2 times worse last night than it is tonight even, but I think it's going to be a eventful race, but it should be a lot of fun.
Well, Wesley, the Rock, known for burning up the tires. Obviously, you want to have that short run speed to get a good qualifying spot. But obviously, the long run could become a key factor here if this thing goes green for a while, which we're hoping. But judging by the practice, it may not do that.
Yeah.
How you been doing in the long run as far as in this practice session?
I'm hoping it goes long run. I think I've got a pretty good handle on my numbers have been looking pretty good in the practices that I've done this week so far. So I think it would definitely be to my advantage or give me a better chance if we have some long runs. Short run speed's there too, but I'm hoping for long run.
Wesley, we noticed, and we've brought this up a couple times, I think, talking to you guys in Field of Motorsports, and we're waiting for this thing to come to a head where you guys can figure it out. You guys consistently are some of the fastest cars in short runs, but you don't normally have that long run speed. What time or what are you guys putting in for practice to try to figure out those long runs? Because here in Velocity, it seems like almost every track we go to, it isn't a caution fest like you see in a lot of leagues. It's a lot of green flag runs. We have that stage break now, which kind of breaks it up a little bit too to bring you guys back bumper to bumper. But has Field of Motorsports focused on that, figured it out, put in time? What are you guys doing to try to figure this out?
Yeah, I wouldn't say we've got it figured out, but we're definitely putting in time and working on it. And last week, I think early in the race, we had a strategy move that it didn't work out for us, but I think it was the right call. We just had just got unlucky with it. But and like you said, coming from the different leagues we've run in, this league is definitely more. You gotta have all your bases covered than some of the other leagues that we've run in, where the short run speed was a little more important. So definitely something we work on. We got a plan usually going in, and last week though we were pretty disappointed going in that first stage because we stopped. We made a stop that I think it was going to be a really good move on our part, but just didn't work out. So we'll see how it goes tonight. But yeah, that's definitely something we all spend time. We spent a lot of time on it actually. But we'll be getting better at it.
Well, Wesley, we definitely appreciate you coming up and spending some time here in the booth, giving us a little bit of a layout of what you're feeling on the car and how this track is doing and things like that. But Chad's going to send you back down to your teammates in Field Up Motorsports. Good luck to all of you down there, and we'll see if we're talking to any of you at the end of the night or all of you.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, Chad, back to the Rock here. We've got practice wrapping up in about 6.5 minutes. We've got Nick Gowan being the fastest in practice right now with Nate Mon still on his heels. They've been kind of flip-flopping back and forth on who's the fastest in practice. Jose Ruiz must have found something, Chad, because he jumped up to third fastest in practice. Sean Walton still fourth fastest. Weston and Jeanette, who we just spoke to, still sitting there in fifth. Cole Martin now is in sixth. Cole was a jump in last week, Chad. Same with Jake Roll being here tonight. Both these drivers don't have a lot of time in the league, but I know them both from other leagues, and they're both very, very good. So going to add two more drivers to this very heavy list of drivers that have a ton of skill and finishing these races in the top 10. So that top 10 is getting harder and harder to be in every week. That's why it makes such a big deal that Jose Ruiz consistently is finishing in the top 10. Same with Jovi Ray, Nick Gowan, and Nathan Mon and Ryan Crooks when he's here. They're consistently finishing the top 10 when they're here, and it's just it makes it harder when two or three more guys come into the league that are consistent being top 10 in other leagues. So you expect to see them here. Cole Martin was very fast last week, didn't have the finish overall, but spent a lot of time in the top 5 last week. I don't know who else you want to pull up here from the top 10, Chad. We got about 5 minutes left if we want to talk to one more driver before we get into qualifying.
Yeah. Let me find. Pull up our leader in the points right now. How about that?
All right, so going to work on pulling up Nick Gowan in the 3 car. Fastest in practice and top of the leaderboard in the points is Nick Gowan, so we'll get him pulled up here. Nick, how are you doing tonight, and welcome to the booth with Swats and Shadilak.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm feeling pretty good. A lot better than last week, that's for sure.
So no more sickness.
Yeah, it's pretty much subsided by now, so feeling a little bit more clear-headed and able to actually focus and make the right calls, and we'll see what happens. But it's an old track. It's bouncy. It's going to tear up the tires. It seems like the high lane is going to be the preferred groove, and I don't know. We'll see. A lot of people see a lot of cars turned around on the track, so I'm curious to see how the race is going to go. And but I feel pretty good here. I had a lot of races here lately in different series, different leagues. So feeling pretty good about tonight.
I was going to say, I thought we just raced here in AAR in the truck. So, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe you won that race, correct?
In the trucks, no, I finished second.
Oh, okay.
I finished second in the trucks. But in the ARCA cars, I did claim a championship here not too long ago, and then the Xfinity race here was also not too long ago. Won that one as well, but no, in the trucks I finished second. But yeah, a lot of track time on here lately, so I'm feeling pretty good about it versus compared to other drivers.
Nick, I'm watching these cars go through, especially on the low line around here, and I might as well be watching Monster Supercross the way these cars are jumping up and down. Looks like they're going through a whoop section. Could you just kind of explain to the people that are watching just how that feels in the car? Is it shaking the steering wheel, and how much does it mess with the eyes being in that cockpit?
It definitely messes around, and as long as you, it makes you think you're losing the control. You could lose control any second now. So, um, and throttle control is going to be important. You don't want to be reactive to the bouncing around. I mean, I feel like a pair of shoes in a tumble dryer going through turn 1 and 2 on the low side. So, um, just got to be a little careful coming off the corner. But it's important just to keep a steady wheel, even though you feel it jerking around. Just don't react to that. Just try to keep it steady, and that'll keep you straight. So that's what I'm going to look to do tonight. And oh my goodness, and hopefully avoid any wrecks just like it did just then. So yeah, it's going to be a challenging, bumpy track, that's for sure.
Well, Nick, we just rode around with you for a couple laps there and watched you miss a couple wrecks as those guys spun off of there. But I was almost getting motion sickness myself looking out your windshield. So I can't imagine what it's like running this thing as many laps as you guys got tonight here at this track. But I'm noticing that you're running different grooves. There's guys that were consistently trying to run that bottom groove down to the yellow line, kind of like an old Atlanta or the Harvick line style. But I've noticed you are running up more in the middle to top line. Is there something different about that? I know there's some big bumps down on the bottom and things like that. Is it you're just trying to avoid those bumps, or are you trying to figure out different lines for different parts of the race as the tires wear in? Or do you just feel more comfortable up towards there, like, a Charlotte or not a Charlotte, sorry, a Darlington or, an Auto Club where you're up against the wall?
Well, I mean, it's the top lane. I think has not been used as much, so it's not as bumpy as the bottom is. The top, the car feels a little bit more stable up there too. There's also plenty of grip up there, so it's easy to kind of like if you're on equal tires with somebody, you might be able to pin them down from getting run and make it difficult to pass on the inside. So I think there's going to be an advantage up at the top, especially on the shorter runs. I don't know how it's going to look on the longer run. I know in other cars, the bottom is where you want to run. It also saves tires. But as far as like overall pace, I think the top is where that's going to be. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But I think you'll probably see a lot of people migrate towards the top as the tires wear in and stuff like that. So yeah.
All right, Nick. Well, we appreciate you coming up to the booth and giving us that lowdown about or down low about this track and how you're planning on looking at it, and not giving away too much to us, but we definitely understand here in the booth what that means. So we appreciate you coming up here and spending time with us. We know you're the points leader. You've got the win this season. You got second last week. You finished second a few times now, or at least in the top three multiple times. So good luck in tonight's race, and Shad will send you back down to your teammates.
All right. Thank you.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up practice, Shad. Qualifying is now going to get underway, and we're going to see how fast these guys can be on that short run speed that we were talking about. We noticed a couple different people moving up through the practice. Cole Martin had actually ended the practice with the fastest lap in practice after joining late into the practice. So Cole Martin, another heavy hitter driver to be in this league, to be up there towards the top. Jake Roll also entered the top 8. So another driver that I would definitely be interested in watching tonight to see how he completes this track. It's a difficult one, as we've heard from several different drivers, Shad. I don't know how this thing's going to end up if this thing, if guys cannot figure out how to get off of turn 2. Turn 2 seems to be the worst one for drivers spinning out, Shad. I'm seeing a few spinning out of turn 4, but turn 2 I saw more cars spinning out, and I don't know if that's just because they didn't make it to turn 4 to spin out and they spun out in turn 2, so they exited and came back in to run again and then messed up in turn 2 again. But of the practice, Shad, is there a driver specifically now that you've had a chance to watch these drivers and look at them to see who may be the fastest tonight that you would pin on being in the top 3 for sure?
To pin in the top 3 for sure, I'll go Nick Gowan, Nathan Maughan. Third person after that, I don't know. Which order they're going to finish, I don't know that either. But it's hard to pick against Gowan and Nate Mon. I still don't see Ryan Crooks in the field, Kurt.
He's there. He just entered. So
Okay. So I don't know how much practice he's got. Maybe he'll find something at the end, or maybe he's already run these cars and he knows what to do. But I mean, those three, Jovi Ray, who was struggling in practice, but he wasn't that good at Nashville either, and then he finds himself in the top three at the end of the race. So I don't know, but I don't think we'll have a new winner tonight. I think we're gonna have a repeat.
Well, I'm gonna go off sequence, and I'm gonna go with a wild card that I think has run really good this season for the races he's been here, outside of the one that he had to back out of. But I'm gonna go with that 5-car shot, that Terry Labonte throwback of Devontae Peterson. He's sitting pretty high in practice, and right now sitting pretty good in qualifying as they're running. But I'm gonna go with a wild card and just say Devontae may come away with the top 3 finish tonight. My other ones, obviously, I'm going to go with Nate Mona and Nick Gowan as well as being the other 2 in the top 3. I don't know what order they'll finish in, but I'm going to say Devontae is going to be my third driver to finish in that top 3 tonight. Plus, I'd like to see him get a top 3 finish. He's been really fast in that Terry Labonte paint scheme, that 5-car. He had a fast car at the track a couple weeks ago before he had the black flag for trying to pass before the finish line or before the start, and got black flagged and had to back out of the race. Probably should have stayed in it because we had multiple cautions after that would have put him back on the lead lap and could have had a better finish. But I'm gonna go with Devontae tonight with Nick Gowan and Nate Mon being our top 3.
Yeah, something I noticed towards the later end of that practice session too was the 44 car. Brandon Watkins was on top of the board in front of Nick Gowan there for a little bit, or at least tied with him on speed. So I wouldn't put it past Brandon Watkins if he's worked on the long run and can stay out of trouble. This could be a breakout night for that 44 car.
Can't disagree with you there either. He definitely was fast in practice. Didn't see him a whole lot up towards the top, but he definitely was at the end of it, circling the top 3 with being up there with Nick and Cole Martin and Nate Mon. So yeah, I'll definitely say he's an outside wild card too. But yeah, I don't know if we'll have a different winner. I'm hoping that we'll have a different winner, but everybody out here that's got that win really wants to be that car that goes the first to multi-win. And you always want to stay out in front with the wins. The more wins you got, the higher the points you'll have. So everybody's out here trying to get as many wins as possible before this thing wraps up when we go into the playoffs. And we've only got a few more weeks of that, Chad. Tyler P out there in the chat saying, I'm scared. So I'm not sure what he's scared of, if it's the track or if anything like that. I'll grab him.
Probably scared of that inside wall coming out of turn 2 is what I would be scared of.
Tyler B, you got a copy of this Watson Shadowlack in the booth.
So that's what it takes to get pulled up in the booth.
Well, when you tell us you're scared, we got to know why. Is it the track conditions? Is it the drivers in turn 2? Is it the wall? Is it
it's
what is
everything, buddy. Well, for starters, this car does not seem to handle like any other car I've driven here. Very, very tight on entry, in my opinion, and then super loose off. And that's gonna be what I'm really scared about. Is just we have a huge field tonight, man. We got 34, 35 cars on track, which I'm not complaining about. That is phenomenal. We've had over 30 cars every race this season, so that's great. But if people don't just drive at 80% for the first 5 or 10 laps, it's gonna be a long night. So I'll give a little pre-race speech beforehand to try to make sure everybody understands we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and it's all up to you guys. So hopefully we have a good one with as minimal cautions as possible, but shout out to everybody for showing up tonight, even with these difficult tracks. It's been pretty awesome to see this attendance.
Well, don't forget to remind those top 3 to stay on track, and actually the winner can go to that checkerboard if they really want. But I agree. I think this is got a chance to go either direction, as either a very cool, fun race or a very long caution fest type race until guys are knocked out of the race. But Shad, got any questions for our own admin and currently sitting in the top 5 in points, Tyler Belanger?
Yeah, Tyler's sitting pretty well right now in qualifying as it looks. How's the
surprising.
car on the long run? That's the biggest question. You've always been one of those guys too that has been really quick on the short run. Have you figured it out for the long run? Because we know the Rock is going to chew those tires up.
Well, that's a two-part answer. The first part is I don't know because I didn't get a long run in, so I crashed too many times or crashed into other people that were crashed on the track during practice. So I'm not sure long run. Second part, I've actually feel like I've been improving on the long runs. However, much stiffer competition this season than last season. That's really the only thing I've been focusing on is just trying to do better at saving tires with the equipment that I have. And I have gotten better at that. I've seen that as far as watching my tires and looking at them at the end of the race. But we got so many guys in here that can come up here and should finish top 5 every race that I'm fighting for top 5s. And I mean, I'm happy about that because having better drivers around you makes you better for the most part. But it's really tough to get a top 5 in this league now. So I'm doing a little better at that, but definitely that's something I still need to work on. I don't have that kind of skill like Nick or clerks or people like that can just get up there and know what they're doing with that. But we're working on it, and we're just going to hope for a top 10 tonight.
Well, that's something I've definitely brought up a couple times today, Tyler, is that this league has stacked drivers in here
Oh,
to where
man.
it is hard to get a top 10 each week, which is why I've been kind of boosting about Jose Ruiz having that top 10 finishes every week, it seems like.
Oh, that's a
Um,
phenomenal stat.
it's incredible to see drivers that are consistently finishing top 10 in this league with as many drivers. I mean, there's at least 20 that have a chance for a win, and then you show up with 30 every week that can try to contend for those top 5 top 10s as well. So it's getting harder and harder to see somebody consistently finishing the top 10 week in and week out, and only a few have done it. So I definitely can't agree with you more there. But we appreciate you coming up in the booth. We'll send you back down. We're getting ready to do the national anthem. You get back in there, get that car fired up, and get ready to rock and roll with the Rock.
Sounds good. You guys have fun up there.
All right. All right, Chad, get him sent back down. We're going to go in the national anthem, so we'll be right back after this national anthem. Big salute to the red, white, and blue, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back here for Velocity Motorsports race number 6 at the Rock in Rockingham, North Carolina. Shad, we've got our grid coming up now to show us our starting lineup, and we've got Nick Gowan on the pole tonight, Shad, for the start of this race. It's going to be an insane start to the race for Nick Gowan being on the pole. Jose Ruiz going to be starting to his outside, so another good start for him, Shad, after you just told him he needed to have some better starts so he didn't get caught up in driver's messes and things like that. We've got... is it Nate Line? Nathan Mon is going to be up on the third spot, and then we've got Tyler Belanger in P4, Ryan Crooks in P5, Hunter Bailey P6, Chris Murphy in the 7, starting P7, Wesley Jeanette going to start P8, Devontae Peterson, my wild card pick for the top 3 finish tonight, is going to roll off P9. John Tiller going to be P10. Isaac Brock P11. Brandon Watkins, your wild card pick, Shag, being P12. Sean Walton 13th. David Mayo 14th. And John Osborne 15th. Johnny Dispiquali 16th. Dakota Ramsdale 17th. Ryan Horvath 18th. Nathan Line is going to be 19th. And Austin Walton will be starting 20th tonight, Shad, if you want to roll off the rest.
Yeah, so 21st, you got the 22. Jason Blaney going to have to make a lot of ground there. 22nd is going to be the 15 of Connor Elliott. 23rd is going to be Bill Sleep. 24th, last car to take time in qualifying, is going to be the 69 of Paul Wolf. 25th is going to be Jake Roel. 26th, Kurt Cole Martin, fast in practice. Must have touched the wall in qualifying, though, as he did not put down a lap time. He's going to start back in 26th. Jovi Ray, another guy starting way in the back. Start 27th. Then you got Bill Hill starting 28th. Andrew Bolander 29th. Then, let's see, 30th. Going to be the 25 of Jason Palmer. 31st is going to be Mike Campbell. 32nd is going to be Brian Phillips. And rounding out this 33-car field, Kurt's going to be Logan Joyner in the 34.
I'm kind of surprised that Cole Martin's starting towards the back shed. He's been fastest in practice. Same with Jovi Ray. He's been our biggest mover the last few weeks because he can't get a qualifying lap down. I don't know if this is going to bode well for him with this track starting in the back. We see a lot of different incidents happening at a turn 2 tonight in practice, so this could be a really good thing for him if a lot of guys get knocked out of this race, but it could be a really bad thing if he's caught up in one of these drivers' messes.
Yeah, I would think I would want to be up towards the front of the field because that might be where the guys that have somewhat figured it out are. Those guys towards the back were probably a lot of the ones that were having difficulty coming out of turn 2 and spinning now. Obviously, anyone can, have that mistake happen, but to try to come up through the field without getting into something, it's going to be difficult for those guys tonight, especially with the tires. You can't burn them off either. You're just going to fall right back through the field. But I think I'm going to see some difficult passing here, Kurt. We heard, Nick Gallen say the high line's where the speed's at, and it's also more grip. This could turn into like a Darlington. So we'll have to find out as they're going to be coming to green this time by, Kurt.
Yeah, this is going to be a difficult one for guys to make passes. I agree. I think slide jobs are going to come into play, and I think guys carrying the speed is going to be able to switch back over and do the crossover on them and come back around them. So we may see a bunch of swapping back and forth from positions. But guys are going to get aggressive, and I'm just hoping they can hang on to it. But Chad, we've got them coming out of turn 4. The pace car is going to duck down pit road. This is a odd straightaway, Chad, for them on the front stretch, and it's not straight. So going into the restart zone, we're already spinning in the back to 39 of Jake Roel, spinning in the back and touching the 53 and 29 to start this race, Chad. No caution because they are off track. Guys are still going. We've still green, and we're out of turn 2 now. Ed Gallen getting a big start on this race out front of Nate Mon. Back half of the field going to be struggling a little bit trying to avoid those cars, but not a good scene, Chad, wrecking off of turn 4 to go green.
Yeah, Andrew Bolander in that 29 Goodwrench machine. That thing's got a ton of damage on it. The whole right front is pretty much opened like a can opener right now. Parts flapping in the wind. So obviously not the way his race wanted to start. But the good thing is that it is early. And now the caution is out, Kurt. I do see the 22, the 9 slow entering turn 3. So this could be the break for the 29 to get that lap back if we can get this thing out before these cars come back around.
I think he just went a lap down, so it'll be close. I think he will be the first car 1 lap down on this, though. So if he can get back out here, I don't think they have fast repairs. I cannot remember.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so if he can get it quickly repaired, as I'm assuming he's going to have to use that fast repair, and he comes right back out on track. He has scored back there a lap down, so I would assume he would be the lucky dog, even though he was down pit road when that caution came out. And that's going to be our Alexandria Customs Lucky Dog Award when it comes across. If it is Andrew Bolander, we'll wait until that's actually scored. But he's the only one I see a lap down as of right now, Chad.
from the replay curve watching this 22.9, and 38 was where that caution actually started. 22 looks like he would be all right. 38 and the 9, I believe, are both going to have to use a fast repair.
We'll go back and try to take a look to see what happened here. So we're back here, going to be looking at the 39 and the 29, you said. So 29, I'll back it up. See the 39 just spin the tires and get sideways. And I don't think the car behind him went, so the 29 ran into the back of that car. But yeah, the 39 definitely spun tires to start this race, Shad, and that's not a good start to the race for the 39. One more look at it here. See, the 39 just whips it and comes right back into Jovi Ray in the 39.
Yeah, he was trying to gas it, but the car in front of him came to a stop. He had to swerve left, and then when he did get back in the gas, it just turned on him. But the actual caution itself, Kurt, that did come out was between the 38, 22, and the 9 coming out of turn 2.
Try to pull that one up now so we can look at that as well. I have not seen the 29 be given the lucky dog yet, so we're waiting to see who is going to get that, or if anybody is going to wind up getting it. So yeah, getting to the 22 of Jason Blaney here, and he's already sideways, so we'll back it up. So coming off the corner, you can see the 39 slips up, tries to, I guess, get in between, and touches the 9, bangs it off of him, and the 3 of them come together there. I'd say the 38 probably got the worst of that. The 9 maybe too, because he went up and hit the outside wall. But the 22, Shad, I don't think is going to have any damage really from that incident. So Jason Blaney getting really lucky on that one compared to the 9 and the 38 that made contact, or the guys that started this race backwards.
Yeah, Blaney may have had some, I would say probably less than 15 seconds. 38, he did smack the wall pretty good on that left side. The 9, I mean, he went pretty much head on, but I think the 29 didn't get the lucky dog because he was on pit road when that caution came out, and it generally doesn't give you the lucky dog if you were on pit road when the caution came out. But the good thing is he's the only car lap down, and the field's bunched back up, so if a caution comes out again and he's not involved in it in any way, he should receive it.
Oh, they're coming into turn 3 and 4 now. Pace car will be ducking off again. And Chad, like I said, this front stretch is not a straightaway. It's a short D track with it being a mile track. It's not like the other D tracks that we go to where it's a long straightaway that's, you know, even arced a little bit. This one's arced pretty much the entire front stretch. So you're basically continuing to turn left as soon as this thing starts up. And we're back underway. Nick Gowan getting a huge jump on the field. Breaks away. Jose Ruiz moves into second. It didn't look like Nathan Monchak got a great start from the outside, but the 24 of Hunter Bailey is coming strong and passes Jose Ruiz on the outside. Now going to look to try to contend with the 3 cars. He gets a massive run off that second line, Chad. He might get side by side with Nick going into turn 1 and 2. He may be able to make this pass for the lead, but is it early to be running this hard, Chad?
Well, it depends. If you can get up to the lead in 1 lap, as he smacks the wall coming out of turn 2, shouldn't be too bad though. Yeah, if you can get out to the lead and then set the pace, it's not bad. The problem is the longer you are back here fighting with guys, that's where you're really burning up the tires. So if he's going for the lead, he needs to get there quick as he keeps hitting the wall. Caution's out again, Kurt. Front straightaway, looks like the 31 Kurt is slow, so that's not a good sign for him.
Facing the wrong direction, so we'll back this up and take a look to see what happened here with Cole Martin. And somehow in my SDK chat it says you passed Logan Joyner, so not sure how that happens, but we'll go and find Cole Martin on the track and see what happened to the 31. He's already around, so we'll back it up here and look. Looks like he might have got loose coming out of turn 4 in my opinion, but we'll take a look. coming out of turn 4, catches the yellow, tries to get back in the gas. Car starts to wiggle on him. He tries to save it, wiggles again, comes up the track into the 35 and gets a giant door slam from the 35, bangs it off the wall just a little bit, and then holds the brakes and stops right in the middle of the track. I'm not seeing a whole lot of damage either from those 2 hits that he just took from the 35 and the wall, Shad. I'm not seeing anything, so that's kind of odd, but I'm sure he's going to have some damage to that 31 car.
Yeah, I see some on the rear. The rear spoiler's got a pretty good wave to it, along with the bumper. And then the right side, obviously, that's where he got T-boned. Got damage there. The good thing is, though, I don't think he really has any front-end damage, which is definitely going to help as far as with the motor and the being able to turn. And I think the rest of that damage he should be able to fix, maybe through a couple pit stops. And I don't think the car is going to be all that bad because of it. And obviously, if I'm him, I'm trying to save that fast repair. So I would just fix what you can on these, 2 laps or whatever that we have under caution, and then go out there and try to make it to the stage. And he took the fast repair. So, yeah, Cole Martin, going to be trying to run the rest of these 100 and what do we got, 48 laps with no fast repair.
Well, looking through the field, Shad, the 29 is going to get that Lucky Dog Alexandria Customs Award finally, being the first car 1 lap down. Now going to be back on the lead lap. 32 cars scored on the lead lap as of right now, Shad. So back to a full field, and we'll see what happens here with these guys. They can get it settled out and get through some laps. I'm sure the guys in the front would prefer to get some laps done to get this thing stretched out a little bit so that these cautions won't be taking out a lot of different drivers, but we haven't gone more than a handful of laps each time.
Yeah, it looks like Kurt, the only car now that will have a lap down, I believe, will be that 9 of Austin Walton. So he's going to have to make up some ground. If we get another caution, he'll obviously get the laps back if he's not involved. But yeah, the 29, lucky break here early in the race to get back on the lead lap after being involved in the start of the race, actually. So good for him to get back on it, but he obviously had to use that fast repair as well. So got to be careful from here on out.
Yeah, we're going to be coming to 1 to green as Nick Gowan's still out front, Chad. Hunter Bailey looks really fast, but he's contending with smacking the wall more than anybody else right now, as he has bumped it off there at least 3 or 4 times, either entering or exiting. But he seems to have a really good fast car. He's using that second lane that you and I talked about before. Nick kind of staying towards the bottom right now. But the rest of the field, Chad, I mean, Chris Murphy up 2 spots, sitting there in 5th. Hunter Bailey up 4 spots, sitting in 2nd. Dakota Ramsdale up 8 spots, sitting back in 9th right now. So definitely coming up through the field are these drivers, and there's a few back there towards the back as well. Brian Phillips up 10 spots, sitting in 23rd, so started last. And then Jason Palmer up 8 spots, sitting in 22nd. So a lot of cars on the move right now, even though we've only done a handful of laps. If these guys can get going green, we'll see if they can start making some passes and things like that. But we're coming off turn 4. Pace car should be ducking on off this time. And we'll go back green here as they enter the restart zone. Nick Gowan going to be leading them to that restart zone. You see those 2 white stripes across the track. Green flag should be waving right now as we go back green.
Gowan being the leader gets a great jump on the 24. He's going to pull off to about a 5-car length lead curve as he comes out of turn 2. 24 and 23 battling as they come out of turn 2. 24 is going to take that spot. 21 is going to follow him. And there's that 88 of Tyler Belanger trying to go around on the outside for P4 as well.
There's guys sliding all over the place, and another wreck just happened as I switched to the camera. We've got another car spinning out, getting loose off turn 4, comes up and hits the 53. I don't know who that was. It was a bright neon green and red car. I think that was Bill Sleep in the 63 maybe that got loose coming off the corner, and it is the 63 of Bill Sleep, who got really loose off of turn 4, tried to save it. It whipped on him and went right up into either the 22 or the 53 whenever he came back up the track. So we'll go back and take a look at the 63 and see if we can break this thing down. But I'm pretty sure it was just a case of getting loose. It looks like he hits the 22, not the 53. So 63 is going into turn 3 and 4 again. It's loose coming off of turn 4, and I don't know if it's the bump shaft, but it looks like it's throwing a lot of cars all over the place, and they're just wiggling, trying to save it. And you can't save these cars very well in the next gens. I know a lot of guys saying to pump the brakes, things like that, or stab the brakes. I always found that, stabbing them real hard and letting off, so pumping them, seemed to be the best deal for me in the next gens. But everybody's got their own vices for how they want to stop these cars, but it doesn't seem very easily. And once they start wiggling, it's as if there's no controlling them, and it just slings them in a direction, usually towards the right. As they try to swing it back, it just snaps on them.
Yeah, with the pinion steering in these now, saving these cars has become a lot more difficult than what it was before. And that's, to me, Kurt, I think that's just being down on that yellow line, going through those bumps that you see there in the replay, and just getting loose on exit before the tires are actually warmed up. We haven't really completed any laps, so these tires don't have the heat in them right now. So guys really just need to be patient with that throttle. And if you're gonna run that bottom line, you gotta float to the top on the exit. Kind of like how most people do at Texas or Charlotte. To where you let the car float to the wall coming out on the exit of turn 4. I think that's what these guys are got to do if they're going to run that bottom line. If you're trying to hold it and put a lot of wheel into it on exit, I think that's where the difficulty right now they're finding with these cars snapping underneath them and turning to the inside.
Yeah, and another scenario too, Shad, is Dover that we were just at recently. When you come out of the corner, the wall is a lot closer. So letting it float is fine, but if you're too wide, it just seems to, you're trying to hold it off of the other driver, and it's snapping on them when they're hitting these bumps. You can't really go too wide out of the corners very easily. You can, but it takes a lot of skill and patience to come out of these corners and not have that car jumping back and forth on you with hitting those bumps. And a lot of guys are finding that experience not easy, as we are now under our 4th caution of the night already. 18 laps into this race. Our current leader, Nick Gowan, has led all 18 laps because we've been under caution for 13 of those 18 laps. So, but of the green ones, he and Hunter Bailey have been battling, and I didn't see Hunter Bailey lead a lap, but he may have led one, but the rest of them have been all Nick Gowan.
Yeah, right before that caution came out, Kurt, as the leaders were entering turn 2. Hunter Bailey on the outside actually smacked the wall again. I checked his car out, though. The right side doesn't look bad at all. Just a few scrapes, but something he's going to have to learn of where the limit is of how far he can drive that in, because if you keep hitting the wall, eventually you're going to damage that car enough to where you're not going to be very good. But yeah, right now, Kurt, I think these guys need to realize that you can't go out here and send it full throttle right now. You're going to have to be careful. And the way it's looking to me, Kurt, it's driving like Darlington, where if you can stay up high through the center and then, cut it back down on exit, it helps you without getting loose. And that's exactly how Darlington is, especially coming out of turn 2. So that's what I see a lot of these guys doing, and it seems to be working. And the guys running the bottom right now are finding that loose end, and it's not working out too good right now. But we're about to go green here, Kurt, as they come to the start-finish line.
Yep, pace car's down, and green flag is in the air, waiting for the cars to enter their restart zone. There we go, and Nick Gowan jumps the lead again, out in front of Hunter Bailey. See if he can contend with Hunter Bailey long enough before Hunter Bailey figures out that wall. But Nathan Mon going to jump on the second cat over Hunter Bailey by running that bottom line. Jose Ruiz going to try to follow him through, but Hunter Bailey is trying to fight back on the outside.
Yeah, Nathan Mon, when he was on the outside of Nick Gowan on the one restart, spun the tires and actually backed up the entire outside lane. And that's why he lost a few positions, but now has found himself back up into second and is closing in on our leader, Kurt. And the 24 of Hunter Bailey is right there as well, as these cars are starting to single file out. It looks like pretty much everyone is single filed out. No battles on track right now. Hopefully these guys have taken a lesson from the admins as they were just talking over Racecom, saying, hey, let's run 80%, get some green flag run laps in, and let's not keep this thing a caution fest. So clean and green so far, Kurt. Nick Gowan out to about 0.6 of a lead.
So I just flipped there to the 6 car. I had changed my camera's perspective to go to crashes. So anytime it sees a wall tap or a bumper tap or anything, it'll flip to that car. And the 6 car, Dakota Ramsdale, just ran right into the back of Wesley Jeanette. These guys are in the top 10, but it looked like Wesley maybe had let off the gas just a little earlier to stay off of Ryan Crooks, who's in the 2, which is a new paint scheme tonight for Zion. That white and blue with navy blue as well, with a neon or cyan blue rims. He backed off the 2 so that he didn't run into him, and the 6 I don't think was expecting that, and ran right into the back of the 74. But I don't see any damage really on either one of those cars. So these guys are gonna have to pay attention out the windshield, out the side windows, out the rear. Whoa, and the 24 almost clips the 21 there. Hunter Bailey all over the place right now and seems very, very aggressive, Shad. He's moving all over the track. Isn't losing a whole lot of speed, though. He's still moving, sitting there in 3rd, but he held up to 23 and 88 as he went up and tapped the wall. But he was very close to clipping that 21's back bumper and sending him for a ride.
Yeah, Hunter Bailey, to me, as he drives it in really deep, sending it off into turn 3, made up a ton of ground on that 21 machine. Now on the outside of them as they head off into turn 1. To me, Kurt, Hunter Bailey is pushing the car way too hard. If this thing stays green here for the next 20-25 laps, he's going to find himself dropping through the field by what I'm seeing here, as he's now working the way to the outside of our leader as they come off of turn 4, trying to get that run. But yeah, Hunter Bailey, Kurt, sending that car in and hoping that it sticks. We got a wreck, Kurt, right for the leader. The 26 machine, Kurt, was slow right up against the wall, and our leader just had nowhere to go. Nick Gowan ran right into the back of him, and then just for more trouble, the 15, Kurt, runs into the back of Nick Gowan as well. But a unfortunate event for our leaders there. I think multiple of them were involved.
Yeah, we're going to go back and take a look at this one. It got really insane there. But, yeah, it was getting pretty heavy with the 24 coming up through the field. But he was going to make a run on the 3 car, and all of a sudden there was just a roadblock there. So we're going to go to the far chase looking out front of the 3. You can see the smoke already out on the track from the 26 of Ryan Horvath. As the 3 enters the corner, Ryan Horvath comes up the track and blocks the track, Shad. Puts Nick Gowan in the wall. Nowhere for Nick to go. You can see Ryan was down towards the bottom of the track, Shad, and just comes up the track right into the 3 and puts him in the wall. I don't know where he thought he was going. He even swerved back down. So I
heard over race comms he said his wheel disconnected. Yeah. He said just over race comms right there, he said he tried to get back going and the wheel disconnected on him. So he is apologizing to the field, but really bad for our leader, Kurt Nick Gowan. He's definitely going to have to use a fast repair. And 21 of Nathan Moniker also involved in that. He's got quite a bit of damage.
I mean, that was all of it. The 24, the 3, the 20, the 21. The only one that escapes out of there, Shad, is the 7 of Chris Murphy that was in the top 5. Escapes out and is now going to be scored as our leader. Did not come down pit road with his teammate Jose Ruiz, who's sitting 2nd. And Ryan Crooks also did not come down pit road. He's going to be sitting 3rd. Hunter Bailey's probably going to be the luckiest one out of this because he pit and comes out. Looks like he's going to wind up being somewhere in the top 15. But yeah, this is going to be a bad night if this is what's going to continue for these guys.
Yeah, Hunter Bailey made it through that. 21 and Nathan Mon, he's going to have to use a fast repair as he T-boned the 26. 88 Tyler Belanger.
Fast repair, Shad.
What's that?
I don't think the 3 used his fast repair because he was on pit road for a very long time.
he could be trying to save it, but I'm currently looking at the front of Tyler B. His car looks pretty good for the contact he made. But for the front end, what I'm looking at, Kurt, his looks pretty good too. So I think Tyler B made it through that, even though he did have a little bit of contact. He should be all right. I I don't think it looks bad at all. But yeah, like you said, Chris Murphy was able to make it through, and a few others. But a lot of guys, Kurt, involved in that wreck.
Yeah, and even though Tyler Beelander doesn't look like he has a whole lot of damage, Chad, he's going to be scored back in 23rd, and he was a top 5 driver. So it's kind of shaking up the field here. The top 5 basically moved to the back of the field and either had to use their fast repair or didn't. The 3 now is back down pit road again, Chad. So this is the 3rd stop for him, I believe, under this caution to try to get some of that damage fixed. He's trying to hold on to his fast repair. I'm surprised he was able to even do that, Chad. I'm surprised there wasn't more critical damage that he had to stay in and get fixed. I'm surprised it was all optional, that he's able to come down pit road now 3 times to get that thing serviced. But he's going to stay on the late lap. So that's insane that he didn't have to tow and that it was all optional.
Yeah, my biggest concern right now, looking at the front end of his Bass Pro Shops machine, is it's really dented in, and obviously the hood's crinkled up. My biggest thing with him would be that radiator, and is this thing gonna overheat without getting it all fixed up? But if he can make it to the stage and stay on the lead lap, or at least be the first car a lap down, I would consider that a lucky break. But we're back under green, Kurt, with Chris Murphy leading the field off into turn 1.
And Ryan Crooks, who started 3rd, is going to push the 7 out in front of the 23. Both riding the bottom, 23 and 74 on the outside, trying to make up time on the outside with speed. 12 car of John Tiller now up into the top 5, also battling with Wesley Jeanette to his outside. We saw that 12. Those 2 are teammates trying to get up in here. And the 39, Chad, who was involved in our first caution of the night, spun the tires on the start of the race, is now up here in the top 6 again, now up 19 spots.
Oh,
74 making
teammates.
12 and 74,
Yeah,
12. That was close.
12 drove it in a little deeper than his teammate, caught that left rear, but both of them able to hang on to it. Going to cost him a couple positions.
Well, that was a huge save by the 74 there. I thought he was going around for sure. But they're able to hang on to it. A lot of guys backed off, which was smart for them. It took them 3 wide a couple times, but everybody able to make it out of there. And right now, Chris Murphy has set sail with Ryan Crooks right behind him by less than a second.
Yeah, Kurt, and with all these caution laps that we've had, which is 18 laps, if I believe, it may allow it to where these guys can make it to the end of the stage on fuel. Now, granted, obviously the guys that did come in and maybe put tires on it, they're going to be fast towards the end of this run, but you know, right now, Kurt, we haven't really had that many green flag laps on these tires, so I think these guys up front can hang on to it for quite a while before those guys with the fresher tires start making their way through the field. But up front, Kurt, Chris Murphy in that 7 machine painted by yours truly finds himself to over a 2nd lead right now over that 2 of Ryan Crooks.
Yeah, he was shot out of a cannon. I think Ryan Crooks actually tapped the wall a little bit, and it slowed him down to the 39. But Jake Roel is on a mission right now, coming through the field up 23
out
spots.
Again,
and we're looking for the caution. Looks like it's going to be the 35, Shad, that's going to be involved in this. Is David
Yeah.
Mayer in that Mountain Dew paint scheme.
I think it's going to be the 35 and the 71 of Michael Campbell, Kurt.
We'll take a look and see what we can find out from this incident here. Pulling up the replay for the 35 of David Mayo, and you see the 45 and 21 and 25 right behind him, Shad. As we go into this corner here, the 35. Wow, the 3 is on a mission. Look at that big move from Nick Gowan there. Wow. Took a 3 wide and dove it deep into that corner. Taking a 3 wide again to make the pass on the bottom. 35 still up here, though. Not sure where this incident starts, but we're going to ride along with the 35 here, waiting for this caution to come out. And he gets a little loose, whips it back, slides up the track, and comes right into the 71. And there is the damage for Mike Campbell. really nowhere for him to go. 35 was kind of all over the place trying to save that car and trying to stop it from hitting the wall and hitting others. And Mike Campbell, nowhere to go, runs into the side of the 35 getting damage.
Yeah, Mike Campbell was trying to figure out where that car was going, went low, which is probably where I would have done as well. And then 35 decided to swing it back down low, and Mike Campbell unfortunately had already chose that line and had nowhere to go but to the door of that 35. So Mike Campbell going to have to use fast repair and probably that 35 as well, which is unfortunate, Kurt, that we've had probably a dozen guys now that have probably had to use that fast repair, and we're not even close to the halfway mark.
No, we're 38 laps into the race, 6 cautions tonight, 20 laps under yellow. We got Sandra Nielsen out there saying, let's go, Johnny, dip the quality in that 42. So 42 we're looking at right now on the track. He has currently scored 11th, up 5 positions from his starting position. Johnny was having some trouble in practice. He's going to spin out a couple times, Chad, but he's able to hang on to this car right now. Doesn't have any damage, has not been involved in any incidences, but hasn't made any big giant leaps in the standings either with all the guys that have been in caution. So I'm wondering what's going on with Johnny. He's has not made a pit stop. He's 39 laps into the run, so he's sitting in the middle of the field on old tires compared to some of the guys around him that have now taken pit stops.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny right now could be running a pace that he feels comfortable with, which could be a decent thing to do right now with everyone else wrecking around him. This could turn into a survival race, and who's got that fast repair saved at the end. But, obviously for those of you who are new to the stream, this is not normal for this league. I think it just goes to show you how tough this track is and why it's called the Rock.
Yeah, I think it's definitely all track. It's not the drivers. I think the drivers, they've gone to some difficult tracks in the past and haven't had a whole lot of issues. This track is just so hard to figure out, and you got to almost be perfect every single lap. If you make one mistake going into turn 1 and 2, you most likely don't make it out of turn 2, pointing the right direction. So, and then you're having the same problems coming out of turn 4. So it's getting harder and harder for these guys to stay in it. But right now, currently, we've got 29 out of 33 still on the lead lap, Shad. Some guys still in this with some damage. Nick Gowing being one of them. Did not make a pit stop that time, Shad. So stayed on track, and actually he's still on the lead lap, but he's got a ton of damage still to that front end. But right now your front row is consistent of Chris Murphy and Jake Rowell. Jake Rowell involved in that first caution of the night, the 7 dodging that big wreck that happened with the leaders, with a 26 getting loose and spinning in front of the leaders and then bouncing around on the track. But we're back into the restart zone, pace car's down, and green flag is waving. And Chris Murphy is going to lead the field into turn 1, Chad. Jake Rowell to the outside.
Yeah, Chris Murphy in that 7 did not get a good jump. The 39 that Jake Wells stayed right with him, and he's actually going to get the momentum come off turn 2 and take over the lead from Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy went as late as possible in the restart zone, and I think it caught himself off guard and allowed that Tabasco's number 39 to hang on his outside going through turn 1 and eventually make the pass. But back towards the back end of the top 10, there's a stack up entering turn 1, starting with the 81 of John Osborne. Everybody else making huge checkups just to be able to save it, which luckily everyone did, but close call there for the 81 machine.
Yeah, and Jake Rowell does have 3-lap fresher tires than Chris Murphy. Even though Chris Murphy's been out here for 40 laps, and all of them, or 22 of them have been caution laps, Jake Rowell still has those 3 fresher laps, so that can contend a little bit there, which might be why Jake Rowell looks so fast right now. But Chris Murphy hanging on to P2, Ryan Crooks hanging on to P3, Jason Blaney up 17 spots, now knocking on the door of the back bumper of the 2 car of Ryan Crooks for that position. He has currently scored P4. Jose Ruiz currently scored P5 with the 31 of Cole Martin that we saw spinning out on the backstretch, Chad. Now moving up into P5, Jose Ruiz going to drop back to P6. Wesley Jeanette sitting 7th, John Osborne 8th, Brandon Watkins 9th, and Jovi Rayshad has crept up into the top 10 now, up 17 spots after being involved in that first caution as well.
Yeah, the car I'm watching, Gert's that 31 of Cole Martin started way in the back of this race without putting down a qualifying time, and then was involved in a wreck. Used his fast repair and now has marched his way back up into this top 10, and is currently running faster lap times than our leader. So, Cole Martin on the move right now, but he's still got a little ways to go before he finds himself up to the front. As we got 19 laps to go before the end of the stage break.
Yeah, Cole Martin has some fresher tires as well. He pit 37 laps ago, so Jason Blaney, who pit 32 laps ago in front of him, has the fresher tires, but the other two in front of them, Ryan Crooks and Chris Murphy, both 47 lap run, and then Jake Ruel on a 44 lap run. So there's some guys up here with fresh tires and some guys with older tires that we've had caution laps that shouldn't be damaged their tires too much. But you know, Shad, as well as I do, 3 to 5 laps is a big deal on a track that will shred tires.
Yeah, Jason Blaney is putting those good tires to use as he gets around the 7 of Chris Murphy, and he's all over the back of that 2 car of Ryan Crooks. So, yeah, tires are showing to be important, but if you can save those sets for the end, especially with all the caution we've had, if you got a set and nobody else does, and you put those on, you should be able to fly through the field. But that 7 Kurt, if he looks in that rearview mirror, that 31 machine of Cole Martin's getting very big, as Cole Martin's making up a lot of time and is still running really fast lap times, and has cut that lead down quite a bit. As Kurt, we might have a play for the lead right here as the 2, Ryan Cooks, Kurt, looks to the inside of Jake Ruel coming out of turn 4.
Ryan Crooks looking low underneath the 39. Jake Ruel up on that high side, going to be able to carry the momentum. It's going to be hard for Ryan Crooks to make that pass, Chad, on the bottom with a little older tires than what Jake has. So Jake's able to ride that high line, carry the momentum around Ryan Crooks, and make him work for this. But Ryan's trying to get down to that bottom line as close as he can to the yellow, trying to make him some time running a shorter distance around the track, but it's not working for him so far, Chad. I think Jake is going to be able to win this battle between the 39 and 2 as he does.
Yeah, the big thing on that outside is carrying the momentum down these straightaways, and the 2 look really good through 3 and 4. Actually pulled a lead on them a little bit, and the 39 came back by the time they entered turn 1. But going through 1 and 2, the outside line just has so much more speed, and unfortunately the 2 was just not able to complete the pass, and the 39 stays out front, even though the 2 looks a little quicker right now. But Kurt, back to P4, Cole Martin has made his way around the 7 and now is on the back bumper of the 22 for 3rd place, as we're coming down to 11 laps to go, or 12 laps to go in the stage.
Yeah, and I'm looking back through the field, Chad, and I'm kind of surprised I'm seeing Nick Gowan, even with this damage, has rose to P11. With that damage, Chad, he's still got a fast car and making time up on some of the guys around him, even them on older tires. He's coming up through the field pretty quickly. Even if he had to use a set of tires there, he's fixed that damage enough to where just right now, just the hood is dented. The front end does not look bad other than the hood on that right side, and it clearly is not hindering him on these newer tires that he currently has right now versus everybody else. But he's definitely working his way up through the field and probably could be maybe towards the top 5 by the time we get to the stage break here in about 10 to 11 laps. Ryan Crooks, though, looks like he's trying to be patient, Chad, but it looks like he's also maybe running out of a little patience as Jake Ruel is running top line, bottom line, whatever he can to keep Ryan Crooks behind him. He knows Ryan has faster tires because most of these guys run sim racing apps or some sort of widget on their screen to let them know what people have done around him. Ryan's going to get to the outside, though, Chad. This is what Ryan wants. Jake does not want him to get to the outside. He's going to dive it deep into turn 1 and 2 to keep him behind him.
Yeah, this is a good battle going on right now between these 2. That 2 is trying to get to that outside. If he can get there, I think he might be able to make the pass. Just currently right now, just not. Oh, gives the 39 a little bump coming out of 4. He's going to get back to the inside as a door touch going down the front straightaway. But you see where the 2 has to let off going into turn 1. And it gives such an advantage to that 39 on the outside. 2, though, fighting back, though, coming out of turn 2. And this is a great battle, Kurt, something that we want to see. This is why Rockingham has so many lead changes.
Oh,
Oh,
he
the 2
turns
gets
him.
into the 39 and turns him. Turns him going down the front straightaway.
Well, trying to save it. Stops on track. Caution will come out, Chad. Ryan Crooks definitely giving the bump to the 39. I think he was tired of the blocking. I heard it this weekend at Talladega from Ryan Blaney. As Blaney said, you don't get too many chances to block 3 times. He's got to have a place to go. So that was at least 3 or 4 blocks that the 39 threw on the 2 and took away his lane multiple times. The 2, I said it looked like he was running out of patience, and it clearly, he definitely said, I'm done, I'm going through you. But we'll take a look back at this caution that came out here between the 2 and the 39.
Yeah, I don't say it was so much blocking. You know, the 39 Jake was just running the line that Ryan wanted. He was running that high line, and if Ryan got somewhat of a run on the outside of him, he would just drive it in deep, going in the turns to float back up to the top, and then obviously Ryan, just could not make the pass on the bottom. To me, what it looked like coming out of turn 4 was Ryan got a good run. Tried to cut it underneath the 39 and unfortunately caught that left rear and it just turned him. But I think that means probably Ryan will get that EOL for causing the wreck. But a lot of guys pitting Kurt.
We got 5 laps left before the stage break, and I don't think this is going to be our stage break caution, Chad. So we will go back green before that stage break throws. And a lot of guys, are coming down pit road. I think Nick Gowan coming down pit road as well to get some more damage fixed. Ryan Crooks coming down probably assumes that he's going to be given that EOL. If he can get the fresh tires and fuel on it now, he'll be able to stay out.
No, the 38 Kurt's going to get the Alexandria Customs Lucky Dog recipient.
No, I mean when we get to the stage break.
Oh, yeah.
If Ryan pits now, if everybody pits at the end of the stage, then if he's going to have fresh tires and fuel, he'll be able to go to the front. But a lot of guys pitted with him, so we'll see what happens there. And actually, no, never mind. He's going to go back up to the front. So we'll see if he gets that EOL, though. We have the 39, like you said, Chad, Jake, or who was it that was the lucky dog there?
Nathan Line.
Nathan Line?
Yep.
All right, so Nathan Line in the 38 is going to get that Alexandria Customs Lucky Dog Award.
Yeah, Nathan Line, as he comes across the line, let's see, I believe he was 3 laps down, so he should be 2. If not, then he was 4, and now it's showing the right number, which is 3.
Yeah, that's going to put Cole Martin at the front, Chad. Chris Murphy 2nd, Jason Blaney 3rd, Jose Ruiz 4th. And I did see that the 2 car came down pit road again, Chad. So I think that might be just topping off of fuel, knowing that he's going to stay out at the end of the stage.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the league gives EOLs for whoever's caused the wreck. So he's going to go to the back regardless. So you might as well come down, top off, and go for a run at the stage 2. But up front, Cole Martin was really fast on those newer tires. Chris Murphy still hanging on strong, was able to make the pass on Jason Blaney for P2. So there's a lot of guys out there on older tires, but we only have a few laps to go before the stage break, and it's going to be hard for anybody right now on fresh tires to get up there, especially with this kind of turning into a one-groove track to where you got to make sure that guy in front of you makes a mistake to be able to get by him.
Yeah, the guys with the freshest tire, Chad, are going to start 17th and beyond. So I don't think they'll get up here in the 2 or 3 laps we're going to run before the end of the stage. But there are a handful of guys in the top 10, Chad, that have some fresher tires compared to everybody else. Jason Blaney's sitting there on 47-lap old tires. He's running about 5-lap fresher tires than Chris Murphy and about 15-lap fresher tires than Chris Murphy and about 5 laps fresher tires than Cole Martin. So that 22 starting 3rd on the bottom row right behind the 31 could be sitting there pretty right now on a short run. We know they always have fast short run speed and fuel up Motorsports, so we'll see if he can come around.
Both the 7 and the 31 were able to get by him on that last run, so he might have already burned his stuff off.
It's possible.
But we're about to go back green. Cole Martin gets a good jump. 22 is going to follow him, try to clear the 7. He's got to do it, which he does. as they go off into turn 1. The 7 of Chris Murphy is going to try to get to that outside, but the 31 Kurt setting sail, trying to get this stage win.
Cole Martin having a big run down the backstretch. Chris Murphy not able to go anywhere with that speed that he was carrying on the high side. Jose Ruiz sitting 4th. John Osborne sitting 5th. Shad Wesley Jeanette 6th. The 44 of Brandon Watkins sitting 7th. Dakota Ramsdale in the 6th, going to be sitting 8th. Jovi Ray is going to be sitting 9th. And John Tiller going to round out the top 10. 81 to the wall. 44 banging off the door of the 81 as he rides the wall there, Shad.
Yeah, the 81 of Osborne drove it in too deep. Car did not stick, just went right up to the wall. The 44 looked like he was doing the same thing until he doored the 81, which allowed him to turn. But yeah, both those guys look like to me when I was watching from as a caution is out. This is stage break.
So Cole Martin's going to be our winner of the stage break. And it looks like Jason Blaney, Chris Murphy, Jose Ruiz, Wesley Jeanette, Brandon Watkins, Jovi Ray, John Osborne, Dakota Ramsdale, John Tiller, and Austin Walton. John Tiller will be our top 10.
I'm showing Austin Walton.
Yeah, I don't know if that was because he passed them after the finish line.
Yeah, that's true.
So it just depends on where they were at the finish line, I guess. So.
Yeah, which we won't know until they give the stage results after the race.
Yeah, they'll go back and review every position.
Yeah, obviously a good stage for Cole Martin going out there and getting caught up in a wreck, but then putting fresh tires and fast repairing that thing and finds himself winning this stage. And, congrats to the Blaney for holding on to P2 and Murphy not pitting and just getting a P3 and his teammate behind him doing the same thing, all out there getting good stage points.
Well, once these guys exit pit road, Shad, if you want to pull up Cole Martin, if you can find him in the Discord. If not, go to the next driver. We know Chris Murphy is for sure in the Discord. If not, Jason Blaney is there, I think, as well in Fueled Up Motorsports. So either one of those drivers could be brought up. And I think Cole Martin's down in WMS, so
Yep.
We'll be able to bring up the stage winner. So while we wait for these guys to do the pit road, we'll wait for Shad to bring up Cole Martin, and we'll talk to him about his stage win and go from there.
All right, looks like they're exiting pit road now, so I'll go ahead and bring up Cole.
Cole Martin, you got a copy? This is Swats and Shadowlack in the booth.
Yeah, I got y'all.
All right, bud, congratulations on winning the stage there. That 31 Chevy colleague paint scheme looking very, very fast. We've seen you come up through the field. You were involved in an incident there where it looked like you got loose and went around, but didn't make any heavy contact with anybody. How were you able to get around this track so easily?
Honestly, I don't know, to be honest. I got about 20 minutes of practice because my internet was acting up, so I just hopped into it and just learned as I went, and I don't know how I ended up winning the stage, to be honest. I figured my tires were going to be roasted there, because I spun and stuff, so I'm just taking my time, learning as it goes. Me and Jovi's worked our way up, so hopefully get back up there again and do it again.
Yeah, Cole, both you and Jovi started way in the back of this race without putting a time down and qualified, and you both find yourself up in the top 10 for points for that stage. When you pitted to put that fast repair on, did you take tires then, or was it just a fuel and fast repair?
It was just only fuel. I was just trying to save my tires just in case anything else happens later.
Oh, so you have definitely figured out the long run then, because you were flying there at the end and making a lot of passes. So doing that on the old tires, I would say you definitely have figured out the long run, which is a good sign for you. How are you feeling right now about the track, and is it really that difficult to keep these things straight? Because it looks like right now, for the most part, probably I'd say the top 10 has figured it out with keeping this thing straight, except for that one time where you did get loose at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, this track is definitely tough. It's just going to take time. We had I think 1 or 2 green flag runs there, pretty good, but it just, when you run the bottom of 3 and 4, it just gets really loose going onto that straightaway. So that's what happened to me, and hopefully you can clean it up here and put on a great show.
Well, Cole, we appreciate you coming up into the booth. Congratulations again on the stage win, and we'll see if we're talking to the end of the night if you can make it back up through this field.
I hope so. Thank y'all.
All right, Shad, get him back down to his teammates here as they are 1 to green going into 3 and 4, and we'll get back to going green here just shortly. Right now, the front row is going to be Isaac Brock in the 45 is going to be leading them to the green flag for this second half of this race. Tyler Belanger going to be to the outside. Bill Hill is going to be third. Johnny DePasquale is going to be fourth. Hunter Bailey fifth. Pace car is going to duck on down pit road, and the 45 is going to lead him into the restart zone with the 88 to the outside. We will be going back green now as the 45 gets on the gas pedal, screams down the front stretch, leads him into turn 1 and 2, but the 88 strong on the outside, Chad, going to be trying to compete for that lead. If he can make the pass, complete it, he'll have the lead as the 88, the UPS machine, goes to the front.
Yeah, right there, Isaac Brock, a guy that we don't typically see up in the lead. Just, I don't know if he was aware that once he got in the restart zone, he could go at any point. Waited till the end, and it costed him because the 88 got the same jump and was able to stay to his outside going through turn 1 and 2 and then eventually take the lead. And now Tyler Belanger is pulling away. As I watch coming out of turn 2, Kurt, Hunter Bailey is taking the Darlington stripe and timesing it by 10 here at Rockingham as he hits the wall again coming out of turn 2, but was not a hard hit. The car should be fine. Yeah, Tyler Belanger right now stretching it out, and at 53 of Bill Hales, Kurt, finds himself up into P2 right now as it's a massive fight right now behind them as we're 3 wide for going into turn 3. Kurt.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at different things here. Isaac Brock pitted 36 laps ago, so he's on old tires and he's falling through the field like a rock right now. He's down to P8 already in a handful of laps. But Jake Rowell coming back up through the field, now into P5. Johnny DePasquale also falling through the field, is now down to P6. Andrew Bolander in the 29 Chad that was in the very first incident with the 29 is now up into the top 10. Nick Gowan, Chad, with that damage somehow still in the top 10, riding this thing out with a can-open front hood. The rest of his car looks pretty good now. He spent some good amount of time on pit road, but that front hood is definitely still opened up. But it doesn't seem to be bothering him, Chad. He's still running some pretty quick times, and he's up into the top 10 without using that fast repair. As Tyler Belanger stretches us out over the 53 and the 5 of Devontae Peterson, my wild card pick for tonight, Chad.
Yeah, Nick Gowan, like you said, that car, besides that hood being opened up a little bit on the front right, it looks perfectly fixed. So it's good for him not having to use that fast repair. Smart move to save it too. And he's out here still running really good lap times as he gets really loose coming out of turn 2. But yeah, he's hanging on. So the longer he can hang on to that fast repair and stay up towards the front, I would think that these guys need to be worried because obviously he's shown a lot of speed. But still up front, Kurt, Tyler Belanger out to about a second lead over that 53 at Bill Hills. And then your sleeper pick, Kurt, Devontae Peterson, making a show into the top 3 as well. But yeah, like we were talking just a little bit ago about that 42 of Johnny D. He finds himself up here battling for 6th position with Nick Gowan. So good comeback by him in that 29 of Andrew Bolander, who did show speed in practice, Kurt, but unfortunately got caught up on that first start of the race. He finds himself finally back up here in the top 10 as well.
Yeah, Devontae Peterson running up towards the front, Chad. I told you he was my wild card pick for tonight's race, and I think he's proving it right now with some big speed to be up here towards the front. But that 24 Chad is coming in a hurry. He seems to be diving it in deeper than anybody else. He's riding it up closer to the wall than anybody else, considering he's hit the wall at least about 8, maybe 9 times now throughout this race, but doesn't have any significant damage from those incidences. So it's just carrying speed almost like a wall ride, Chad, where it's not doing anything for him, or not doing anything to him by hitting the wall. He's not having any damage being put on the car, but he's still carrying so much speed through the corner with riding that high line that he's carrying that speed right into getting to the outside of the car that is passing, and he just rides it right through and keeps on going. But Tyler Belanger laying down some fast laps out front right now by just under a second. over Bill Hells, who's sitting second, Chad. Bill Hells, we don't talk about a whole lot being up in the top 3, but he has consistently been finishing in the top 11. He's in the top 10 in points. I think he's actually in the top 6 in the points. So that 53 machine out front of the top 10 right now, riding around right here in P2.
Yeah, Bill Hells, you know, another one of those quiet hunters like the 23 Jose Ruiz. I haven't talked about him much as far as being up front, but have got the finishes towards the end of the races, which is really all that matters. If you don't get stage points and finish well, and then someone who does get stage points and finishes really bad, you're still going to come out on top. So Bill Hell's having a great start of the season, but you know, that 5 Kurt, I seen that paint scheme out here, and then I seen the 25 of Palmer with a Miller Lite scheme, Kurt. It's almost like a throwback that I'm watching here with those 2 paint schemes. Looks like Terry Labonte and Rusty Wallace going at it.
Yeah, it's funny because Rusty Wallace is going to be in the booth this weekend when they go to Dover. So my favorite driver when I was a kid, obviously, until he retired, going to be able to hear him in the booth. And I kind of like that Tony Stewart joked with Clint Boyer saying that they were finally going to have somebody in the booth that might talk more than Clint with having Rusty Wallace being in the booth. So, but for this race right now, it's Tyler Belanders in his lap. And Chad, I think we're going to wind up taking a break here. We'll go side-by-side action with 76 laps to go. Nobody will miss any of the action. If we go into a caution, we'll come back. But we'll go to side-by-side and come on back here in just a few minutes. All right, we're back here at Velocity Motorsports, race number 6 at the Rockingham tonight. And Shad, we had a caution under that break there with the 39 of Jake Rowell spinning out. Did you see anything there, or was it just another case of car getting loose?
Yeah, coming out of turn 4, he got loose, and the 2 of Ryan Crooks was right there to his inside. And when he got loose, he came right across the bumper of Ryan Crooks. Nothing that Ryan could do there, but yeah, that's what brought out the caution. No damage that I could tell from that caution. But speaking of cautions, Kurt,
we got another
flavor of the day is yellow, as we got the 69 coming to a stop as they enter turn 3.
And that 69 is Paul Wolf that was involved in that one. So we'll take a look back at the first one, Shad, with Jake Rowell. We'll take a look and see what happened to Jake as he was coming across there. So you can see this 39 was entering the corner with Ryan Crooks on his back. Had a little bit of distance, no contact this time from what I could see, Shad. Well, never mind. I guess he did get a little loose and the 2 ran him over. But 39 going to the inside again. But we'll take a look and see what happened on this latest yellow for Paul Wolf.
Yeah, Paul Wolf's day went from bad to worse, as under that caution, Kurt, he actually went down the wrong pit road and costed himself a few positions by doing that. In case some of y'all didn't know, that Rockingham actually has a backstretch pit road, and Paul Wolf found out about it.
Yeah, it's kind of like Bristol. It's got 2 sides of the pit road, and if you enter the wrong one, you're going down the wrong side and can't make a pit stop. So 69, though, Shad, did make contact with the 9, so Austin Walton going to be involved in this as well, with some heavy damage to his car. But yeah, Jake, or the 69 of Paul Wolf, not having a good night here with finding the wrong pit road entrance, but has made it to the right side and is in pit road now trying to get some repairs done. But Shad, Tyler Belanger is still going to be our leader, and look who is behind him, Shad, in that 3 car. That Bass Tracker number 3 of Nick Gowan has made it from the back of the field after being involved in that incident with a driver losing connection to his wheel and coming into the leader, which was Nick Gowan at the time. Had some massive damage to his car, spent a lot of time down pit road several times to get it completely fixed without going a lap down, and then started making his way through the field and is now sitting P2 even with damage to the hood. Shad has not used his front or his fast repair. We've got less than 65 laps to go. We'll probably have about 62 to go when we go back green, but I can't believe that he has driven through this field, Shad, with that damage on this 3 car.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge surprise. I thought when he wrecked, he was definitely going to have to use that fast repair. And like you said, went down pit road multiple times, spent a lot of time down on it, and got it fixed as much as it will be fixed without a fast repair, which is only leaving a gap on the right front of the hood and bumper clip. But the good thing is everything else on that car that was messed up, which was the bumper, the front bumper, rear bumper, the rear spoiler, were all dented up. All those are back looking brand new. So obviously the car still has a lot of speed with him driving through the field, which does not sound good for the rest of the field, because if he does come down and use that fast repair at some point, his car is going to be probably a little bit better than what it is now. But Kurt, my sleeper pick, Brandon Watkins, 44, making me look like a smart man right now, sitting at 3rd place in that Dollar General Matt Kenseth or Carl Edwards paint scheme. Looking really good right now. So thank you, Brandon, for. Well, I was going old
I don't know.
school.
But yeah,
I was going old school, but yeah.
I mean, your pick is up there in the top 5. My wild card pick of Devontae Peterson still hovering in the top 10, sitting P8. And then obviously we both picked Nick as well, and he's sitting there in P2. Our other pick, though, Shad, Nate Mon is back in 26th. So Nate got a lot of ground to cover to get back up here. He was very fast until he was involved in that incident that Nick was involved in too, Shad. So that tells you the difference too. Both of them were involved in that incident with the 26 losing connection to his wheel and coming across in front of the leaders and wrecking the whole front part of the field. Nate has not recovered as quickly as Nick has, or not even close to being as fast as Nick has. So,
well, looking at Nathan Vaughn's car, not sure if he's fixed all that he can, but looking at his car, there's still a ton of damage on that with the rear spoiler. The front end is really messed up, but he could be just saving that fast repair for maybe this next pit stop that would get these cars to the end. That's when I would probably use it if I was him too, but I don't know. He's got to make up a ton of ground, and these laps keep clicking off. It's going to be harder and harder to get where he wants to be, which is battling for the win.
And we got Sandra Nielsen out there in the chat saying Granny is still rooting for you, Johnny. A lot of cars tonight. Just hang in there. You'll do great. Go, Johnny, from 16th to up to the top 10. Keep it up, buddy. So Granny is definitely rooting for the 42 of Johnny D out there, who's currently sitting in P8, Chad. So Johnny having a good race tonight. We haven't seen him had, really any good runs besides the win that he got at Phoenix last season. So maybe tonight's another lucky night for him, another wild card driver that could be up here. But Tyler Belanger, your current leader, Chad, off to a good restart there. The 44 and 3 side by side as the 3 clears the 44 into turn 3 and 4. Going to look to set his sights on the 88. Look how high the 3 is rounding these corners, Chad, almost up towards the wall. We talked to him pre-racing. He said on the later runs you'll see guys venture up to the top. Well, he's already doing it. So 88 trying to move up the track as well and try to take that line away from him. But Chad, that opens up the bottom for guys to take the bottom entrance in. And if they do what the 24's been doing with deep diving into the corners, it could be that they dive it in there and slide up in front of each other. But this thing's getting really racy now, Chad, with now 59 to go in this race. But Tyler Belanger, your current leader, has been out front for about 15 to 20 laps now, Chad. It doesn't look like he wants to give it up. And Nick Gowan has come through the field to get up to the top 5. And we get another one on the wall, and it's the 42 of Johnny DePaquala, who we were just talking about. Heavy damage on Johnny in the 42. Looked like he might have got loose or got turned. I just saw his car swing right and went right into the wall. So we'll take a slow-mo replay of what happened to the 42 here as we go back and look. It looked like Johnny either got clipped or was very loose coming out of the corner.
Yeah, 74 Wesley Jeanette, also heavy damage on his cars, both him and the 42. Two teammates, both losing the front clip. And Johnny's car actually looks like it's having a hard time even moving right now. So, yeah, he's going to have to tow it.
Wow, some heavy damage there. Heavy hit to the inside wall there for the 42 and the car of Wesley Jeanette in that 74, Chad. That was some heavy damage. And I can't tell if it was just he came up and maybe thought maybe he was cleared on the 33 of Jovi Ray or not as he exited the corner. We'll take a look again. It looked like the 42 slid up the track, thought maybe he was cleared, but he wasn't. He just ran right into the side of the 33's front bumper, and it just turned the 42 into the wall, and the 42 and 74 being an innocent bystander of this, both of them getting heavy damage. 33 doesn't look like he has very much damage, though, Sheb.
Yeah, from, riding behind these cars, it looks like the 42 just comes up on the exit of turn 2, thinking he might have cleared Jovi. And Jovi was still hanging on by just a little bit, and when they make contact, obviously the 42 ends up going sideways right into the inside wall and collects the 74. And then after that, it's like a garage sale on bumpers as they both lose them. But unfortunate, like Johnny's grandmother just wrote in the chat, and might have caused him a little bad luck there, Granny. But he should be able to get that thing fixed. I believe he still has that fast repair. The problem is right now with towing it, he's going to go at least one lap down. But with the way this race has been going with the cautions, if he's only one lap down, he can find himself back on the lead lap, and maybe still will be able to salvage a pretty good finish out of this.
Shad, Austin Walton in the 9 has some heavy damage to this car and has somehow stayed out on track and just got the Lucky Dog Award from Alexandria Customs, and is still on the lead lap somehow now. But he doesn't even have a front bumper, and his left front wheel was actually angled out. So he's coming down pit road now. I'm guessing either he's used his fast repair or he hasn't, but it looks like he's already used it. I know he was in an incident earlier, so somehow staying out on track, getting some damage fixed, but still out there on the lead lap, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Austin used that fast spur in that earlier wreck when he went head on into the wall, but you know, out there staying on the lead lap means he can stay, you know, gain these positions with everyone else falling laps down. But yeah, like you were saying about his car, right now it looks like a modified out there. But hey, if you can keep it going, but it looks like right here he will go a lap down to the leader. So Austin Walton going to be that first car right now on. Yeah, first car going down one lap. So, but it looks like Johnny has finally got the tow. I see his car going up. He's exiting now. So Johnny actually might be the first car a lap down. So that bodes well for him being able to get back on the lead lap and you know, increases his chances of
Johnny's actually getting a good finish down.
Oh, was? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so first car one lap down now is going to be the 45 of Isaac Brock as he came out before the 9 did. But yeah, that's going to put the 25 of Jason Palmer in that Miller Lite paint scheme that you've been talking about, the Rusty Walls throwback, up into the top spot here with the 13 of Ryan Phillips in the Quick Trip paint scheme on the outside, but he's got the 38 of Nathan Line, who's had some trouble tonight, and then on the outside is Chris Murphy sitting there in P4. Next row is going to be Tyler Belanger and the 3 of Nick Gowan. 25 going to lead him in the restart zone, gets on the loud pedal and screams it down the front stretch with the green flag waving as we're back green now on this restart after our 11th caution of the night. Quick Trip 13 up closer to the wall shack, going to give up a ton of positions in this first corner.
Yeah, he was really slow on that restart. Not sure if he had it in the wrong gear or not, but the entire top lane, yeah, the entire top lane had to check up, which cost Chris Murphy a few positions. And then, you know, like you were saying, that 38 Nathan Line, Kurt, he was, I believe, 5 laps down at one point, and you know, now finds himself up in the top 10 for now. But that just goes to show you that just because you're 5 laps down, you're not out of it. And with 53 laps to go, Johnny D is not out of this race. You know, he's only going to need, I think, what, 5 cautions to get back onto the lead lap. And
depending on how frequent they come. Because he's also got Connor Elliott 1 lap down, David Mayo 1 lap down.
And there's a caution right there, Kurt.
Austin Walton 2 laps down, and then Johnny. So it's going to be a close one, but this is going to be our 12th caution of the night, and I don't know who's going to be involved. I think it's your pitch yet, Brandon Watkins, that's going to be involved in this one. And the 44 very slow on the backstretch there with a lot of smoke around, so doesn't look like he has a ton of terrible damage or anything, but definitely involved in this one. We'll take a look back and see what happened to the 44, Brandon Watkins, to figure out what happened. Looked like Isaac Brock jumped to the pit, so I'm not sure if he was involved in this. It looks like Ryan Crooks was also involved in this as well. But we'll take a look and see what happened to Brandon Watkins. Again, gets loose out of turn 2, clips the 2, spins around the 2, doesn't get a whole lot of damage to either one of those cars, at least as of yet, and looks like they're going to escape from major damage, but just another case of somebody getting loose out of the corner.
Yeah, the 2 got the worst of it, at least unless that was from previous damage, but the 2's front is a little bit bent in right in the middle, but the 44, his car looks pretty good to me, but yeah, like you were saying, coming out of turn 2, probably the hardest turn on this track, just gets loose and just barely clips that right rear of Ryan Crooks and spins them both. And it looks like, Kurt, the 9 of Austin Walton is going to be our Alexandria Customs Lucky Dog recipient, and that's going to put him back on the lead lap with that modified NASCAR machine.
Yeah, it looks like the front's not even really turning the right direction. The left wheel looks like it's angled or something, but still out on track. So I do see some news out there from Tyler B saying never coming back to this track, as the owner admin saying this track is too much for these next gen cars. No reason to apologize, Tyler. We're enjoying the race and not sure who's going to be able to make it through here, but you yourself are currently sitting in the top 3. So
Yeah, I mean, we've had 12 cautions, which is definitely I think a record now for the league.
which actually isn't that many compared to some people that come here, Chad. Some leagues that come here end up in the 20s. So
I can tell you right now, the league I'm in, we were in the 20s around here.
That's what I'm saying. So
and these cars haven't really changed much when we raced here last season in the league I'm in. So they're still not doing that bad considering. But Kurt, I look at that blue Miller Lite machine out front.
why don't you go and find that driver, Jason Palmer? See if he's in the Discord. We'll talk to him real quick. See if he's a Rusty Wallace fan or if he's a Kurt Busch fan.
And I do not see Jason Palmer in the chat.
All right. Well, looking back through the rest of the field, Chad, look at that 31 that's now crept up into the top 5 as well. He's sitting P2. 31 won the stage break and then had to go to the back and has worked his way back up through here. So you've got the 31 of Cole Martin, who's been pretty fast tonight, now sitting P2. Tyler Belanger, we were just talking about in the 88. He's sitting P3. Chris Murphy, P4. Nick Gowan sitting P5. The 24, Cole Martin, not Cole Martin, sorry. Hunter Bailey sitting in P5, and then Jason Blaney sitting in P7. Devontae Peterson still in that top 10 position in the 8th spot. Sean Walton and Bill Hell is flip-flopping for 9th and 10th there. So top 10's got a lot of drivers in here. We've only got one driver in the top 10, Chad, that's got a win.
Yeah, with Ryan Crooks being involved in multiple accidents, it's kind of limited to who's got wins that's in the top 10. But, up front, Kurt, Jason Palmer does not get the greatest jumps. That's going to allow the 31 of Cole Martin to stay to his outside coming out turn 2. As we got Jason Blaney, Kurt, getting loose and hitting the inside.
Oh, and Jose Ruiz goes around. Big roadblock, Chad, going into turn 3 and 4 here.
Ooh, that is what we call the big one.
Yeah. Let's back it up and take a look from Jose Ruiz and see what happened here to Jose. Looked like he got clipped because I seen his car turning, but we saw the 22 get really loose there coming off the corner as well. Taking a look at the restart, you'll see the 22 make an evasive dive down to the bottom, and then the 23, not sure what happens here with him, but we'll see as it comes here. Oh, and actually, it wasn't the 22 making an evasive dive. It was the 24 coming off the wall. And then a few guys trying to avoid the 24, and the 23 gets turned, which then just causes a giant roadblock with the 74, the 12, the 21, the 81, all involved in this one, Chad. A lot of drivers mixed up in this one. A lot of guys that we thought would be in the top 5 as well.
Yeah, Westy Jeanette, Kurt, had to use the fast repair on that one wreck. And he hit the wall really hard right there. That might have ruined his race. But yeah, like you were saying, the 24, Hunter Bailey, who's been in the wall most of the night, gets in the wall and everyone tries to go around him. And it looked like to me, Jose might have let up a little bit. And the 74, couldn't see. And it was 3 wide going underneath Hunter Bailey. So they kind of just touched and spun around, and then it's just a melee behind them. But takes out a lot of good cars, Kurt. We're going to be starting, I think, getting down to where cars are going to be sitting on pit road for a long time because they're just out of the fast repairs.
Yeah, it's definitely getting to that point where the guys that have already used the fast repairs and then getting more damage are going to be just riding around, kind of like we saw Austin Walton there. But Chad, I mean, even Austin Walton, he just got back on the lead lap. He's had a ton of damage for several laps, and he's sitting in the top 15 because of this. So don't know if he's going to end up there, but you'd think, Austin Walton, who's missing, I think, a front end, Yeah, still missing a front end, looking like a modified, sitting in P15. So a lot of different drivers involved in incidents tonight. Now our 13th caution of the night. And we've got 44 laps to go, Shad, to get this thing finished off. I don't think we're done, but the 88 going to be on the outside of Cole Martin to start this next restart, Shad. These two have been kind of battling up here towards the front most of the night, with Chris Murphy and Nick Gowan hovering there in the top 5, and Devontae Peterson, my wild card pick, in that 5, sitting P5 as well, to go back into this restart here shortly. I don't know who you want to try to pull up out of there, Shad. If you want to try to pull Tyler or Chris or Nick, one of those guys, if you want to try to pull any one of them.
I think we'll just leave it alone. I think they're coming to 1 to go this time, but yeah, it's been coming down to the restart here, Kurt. You know, the leader, at least some of the guys, are waiting to the very end of the restart box, and it hurts them badly because it allows that guy on the outside to stay with them. The only person we've really been able to see execute the restart really well was Nick Gowan, who went really early in the restart box and cleared the outside line by 3 car lengths going through turns 1 and 2. So for Cole Martin here, he's gonna have to get a good restart and not allow that 88 to stay on his outside, or we're probably gonna have Tyler Belanger being the leader by the time they make it around to the start finish line.
It's very possible. Cole Martin has not had a bad restart, really, and Tyler Belanger got a great jump last time to go around that 25. We'll see if he can do it again here. But, I mean, the top 5, Shad, is pretty stacked, with Chris Murphy with wins last season, Tyler Belanger with wins last season, Nick Gowan with a win this season. Probably should have had 2, maybe 3 already. Jason Blaney, also very fast, got wins last season. Cole Martin was very fast this season, but has not had the win. So top 10 starting stacked up with drivers that should be here at the end. We'll see if they can all make it to the end. But Cole Martin getting a great jump on this restart, Shad. Dives it out in front of everybody. Chris Murphy now looking underneath Tyler Belanger for second.
Yeah, Murphy did get a good jump, but unfortunately that inside line just has not worked all night unless you're the leader and you get a good jump. So he's going to settle back into P3 and work it on from there. But that 3-car Kurt of Nick Gowan right there behind him now looking to the outside. Murphy needs to get up, or that momentum of the 3 is going to get by him. He needs to get up there and run that high line.
And Shad, you talked to Chris before the race, and I thought he kind of understood what you were telling him, but he seems to want to run that bottom. He slides up in front of Nick on the straightaways, but then dives it back down to the bottom and gives Nick the top line. But right now, so far, it's not really helping Nick, as now I say that he gets a big run coming down the backstretch, and Chris pinches him into the wall. You see the 3-car bounce it off the wall just a little bit there. Stays in the gas, though, and is going to get to the outside of the 7 and try to make that pass coming out of turns 3 and 4. Devontae Peterson lurking back here behind these two. Going to try to get to them and make the pass on Chris Murphy, as well as the 3 clears the 7 and now sets his sights on Tyler Belanger and Cole Martin, who have pulled away, Shad, by over a second to third place.
Yeah, I think that's going to close in really quick. But right now, if I'm Chris Murphy, I'm going to sit behind that 3 and take notes, see where he's running, and try to gain some information and see if he can get faster for the end of this race. But he's still staying pretty low, which might allow Devontae Peterson to get by him eventually if he continues to stay down there. But back up front, Kurt, the first 3 running different lines, as you see the 31 going on the low line through 3 and 4. Tyler B kind of that middle to upper, and then Nick Gowan basically running the wall, which is allowing him to gain, and Tyler Belanger also gaining on the leader, Kurt. We're going to have a battle here.
Belanger dives underneath of the 31. Can he complete the pass, or will the 31 carry the momentum? It looks like the 31 is going to have the momentum coming across to the line. It's going to be Tyler Belanger leading that lap, Shad, but Cole Martin still to his outside with momentum in that top lane. Tyler needs to complete this pass as soon as possible and does not get it done. Gets loose coming out of the corner, but saves it. Gets behind the 31, but that's going to allow the 3 to have some big runs on that 88 as they get closer and closer to each other.
Yeah, there's a big gap now behind Chris Murphy, so I'm not sure what happened to Devontae Peterson. So
he's still back there.
Yeah, but he's not on him like he was. He's fallen back to over a second behind him.
He's whacked the wall a couple times, and I think Jake Rowell is all over the back bumper.
Yeah, and we heard from Nick Gowan that if you run the bottom, you can probably save tires being down there, which maybe that's what Murphy's doing. Maybe he's hoping this stays green to the end, which might put him in a good spot. But right now, he's not really losing too much time to the leaders, even running that low line. As we see right there, the 3 of Nick Gowan coming out loose off of turn 2. But up front, yeah. Up front, Cole Martin still running the bottom through 3 and 4, and it's working right now. It does allow Tyler Belanger to get a great run as they enter turn 1. But that's then, Cole Martin runs the high side, and they stay even. And then he gains a little bit on entrance through 3 and 4, but then loses it on exit. So right now, Cole Martin, at least if it does turn out to be saving tires on the bottom, is at least saving tires on one end of the racetrack.
I mean, he's running 2 different sides of this track. He's running the first side as close to the bottom as he can, and then the last one he's running a little bit higher now. And Tyler just can't seem to get the momentum to carry the right direction for him and get side by side with the 31. He needs to get to the outside of the 31, but he just can't get there.
Yeah, the front 3 have now pulled about a second over fourth place. And then Jake Rowell, Kurt, been in quite a few accidents, is now up into P5, but he's got that 2 of Ryan Crooks right behind him in 6th. But they're about a second, 2 seconds behind fourth place.
Yeah, Ryan and the 39 have made contact, obviously. He's sending the 39 around almost twice. But the 2 looks really fast, Chad. Even though he's got a dent in the front bumper, it looks like he hit a telephone pole. But he still is really fast, able to make the pass on Jake Rowell. I don't know the tire situation. I'm trying to look now. Ryan's got about 7 lap fresher tires than everybody around him. So that might be what's helping him get by these guys. But he's definitely coming in a hurry as well. Tyler Belanger under attack from the 3, and Chris Murphy sliding back from these guys a little bit, Chad. So it's now a 3-car drag pull away, and the 2 and the 39 trying to run down the 7 as he gets by himself now.
Yeah, 31 of Cole Martin has kind of stretched his lead a little bit over Tyler Belanger. Hopefully Tyler Belanger did not burn his tires up, as this could be a long run that we've been waiting on here in this final 28 laps. With leaders now coming up on the 9 and the 74 to put them more laps down. Both of them kind of stay out of the way. 9 hugs the bottom, gives the leaders the top going through 3 and 4, which is just, obviously common courtesy. And, sometimes you give that courtesy, you get it back later on in the season. So good for him to do that. And the 74 West Jeanette, who's out there currently multiple laps down, just trying to get whatever positions he can. But up front, Kurt, Tyler Belanger kind of closed the gap that last time by. It's now down to 0.4 as they go through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and the fastest car on the track, Chad, is Ryan Crooks back there in P5, running about 2 to 3 tenths faster than the leaders. So he is coming, but he's on fresher tires, so I think that might be what's giving him the advantage. Nick getting really loose coming off of turn 2 there, Chad. Almost getting sideways again, trying to make up ground on these 2. He's been kind of driving ever since the incident with the driver that lost connection to his steering wheel. It was almost like he was driving like a pissed off teenager coming through the field. He got up now to the top 5, and he's kind of stalled out there in P3. Can't get to the 88 or the 31, but he still has that fast repair in his pocket, Chad. So if he's been this fast most of the night with damage, if we get to the green flag stop here and he can make that fast repair pit stop, or if we have another caution comes out and he winds up coming down, he can do that fast repair. And if he's been able to get all the way up into P3 and hang on to P3 with having damage, I would be scared if I was the 31 and the 88, knowing that he is lurking back there with that much speed with a damaged car if he fixes it.
Yeah, I don't know how much that damage is slowing him down. It could be, even if it's a tenth or 2 a lap.
He gets really loose. He is whipping it back and forth on the front stretch.
Yeah, he's losing a bunch of time as now Chris Murphy and Ryan Crooks are coming up. As Ryan Crooks looks underneath Murphy as they come out of turn 2, and he's right there with the 3 of Nick Gowan. All 3 of those cars you can throw a blanket over. Ryan Cook's though, Kurt, with that damage, like you mentioned, with those fresher tires, it does not matter. He is making up a ton of time. And they're 3 wide with a lap car going off into turn 1. Chris Murphy goes up,
makes contact.
and that's going to probably bring, that will bring out the caution. Murphy looked like to me he just drove it in too deep, and on those older tires just could not keep it down, and drifted up into turn 1 wall where Nathan was currently at.
We're taking a look back here from the far chase of Chris Murphy. And you can see him enter the corner. He tries to hold that middle line, and it just slides up the track on him. The 38's there. Nothing the 38 did. He was as high as he could, and the 7 just carried a lot of speed in that corner. Just floated up the track on him and pinched the 38 in the wall. 7's going to have some damage to the right bumper on the back. Not seeing a whole lot with the spoiler, though, Shad. So it looks like it's mostly concentrated on the back right side of the bumper, as you can even see it tilted up on the right side of that back bumper.
Yeah, it actually was the 29 of Bolander. When he came by him, it looked like netcode damage, because to me it didn't look like the 29 actually hit him. But then obviously the damage just showed up. But yeah, I think the damage is repairable. I don't think he needs to use the fast repair. Obviously, with that caution, everyone getting grouped back up, I would want to save it.
And Chad, I am shocked right now that Nick Gowan did not come down pit road. We've got 20 laps left. He's got 38 lap old tires. The rest of the top of the field came down pit road, except for Ryan Crooks and Devontae Peterson staying out as well, and they're both on old tires as well, 31 and 38. But yeah, Cole Martin, Jake Rowell, Jose Ruiz, Jovi Ray, Tyler Belanger, all going down pit road, which is going to put them in the top 10 on fresh tires and be able to make it to the end for sure. I'm guessing Nick can probably make it to the end on fuel with the amount of caution laps that we've had tonight. With 20 laps to go, he's run 38. I don't remember what you said for the fuel mileage, but with cautions, I'd probably
50
guess
to 52.
Yeah, so with all the cautions, he's probably got enough in the tank.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're good to go to the end. The problem is, the 31 of Cole Martin, who's been really fast, comes down, puts on tires.
And he could have done the fast repair, too, for Nick.
Yeah, at this point, you might as well use it. But then again, 20 laps, I mean,
you never know.
We could have 6 cautions. Who knows? But if this thing goes green with Cole Martin coming down getting fresh tires,
he's gonna come out P6.
Yeah, he's gonna be right there on these guys, and he's obviously gonna be running way faster lap times. We've seen what Ryan Crooks was doing, even with damage, was running down cars. So, and then Nick Gowan. Ryan Crooks was faster there with those newer tires, so Nick Gowan's kind of a sitting duck. And then, these cars that didn't pit, I think, are sitting duck for that 31.
And I don't see the rest of them pitting too. If we do get another caution later on, and Nick decides to come down finally and throw some fresh tires on to use that fast repair, I don't see the rest of the field pitting. So,
yeah, I mean, at this point, I think the rest of the field, the rest of the field, I think, is done. With pitting, unless you get damage, obviously. So Nick, and Ryan and Devontae, Bill Hills, John Tiller, if they pit to come down and put tires, they are going to go way back in the pack. And Nick Gowan, really fast, might need a crew chief, though, because his strategy calls the last couple of weeks have not been the greatest.
I mean, he's out front of the points, Chad, by like 60 points. So
that is true.
He does have the ability to give up a little bit.
Yeah, he can definitely test the waters as far as strategy. Unlike some of these others, Ryan Crooks, he missed, the first 2 races, so he's way back in the point.
And he lagged out of Texas, the 3rd race, the first race he was in.
So, basically missed 3 races of the short,
I think he's back in 15th in the points.
Yeah, so for him, he can't afford to fall back in the field, but we'll see how many cars can actually get up there and get through these guys. 31, 39, Jake Well, 23, Jose Ruiz, he's right there now. 33, Jovi Ray also. So Jovi could find himself up there. But that 31, Kurt, that's the car I'd keep my eye on.
And we've got somebody in the chat, Tyler Belanger, saying to go look to see what happened to him in the pits.
Oh, I've seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, you might want to explain it, because I don't think I can go back and look at it.
Yeah, so what I seen was obviously he came down pit road, and the 69 for some reason was hauling the mail down there and just ran right in the back of him. I'm not sure if the 69 thought he was a lucky dog, and we got caution out again, Kurt.
Yeah, big wreck again. Looking back through here as they're piling in, it's going to be Jovi Ray is one of them, Shed. The 13, the 6. Looks like the 88 was able to hit the brakes enough. The 39 was involved, and I think the 7 might have gotten a little damage on this as well, Shed. So we'll take a look back at this latest caution here, and I'm seeing Tyler Beelander, Dakota Ramsdale, Jovi Ray.
Yeah, this is another track blocker right here, Kurt, and it's another case of new tires that aren't warmed up, and you're getting loose coming out of 2. That's what it is, and it's the 39 that pretty much starts it.
Well, we'll take a look back here from the far chase cam, and we'll watch to see what happens after this quick restart going into turn 1 and 2. You see the 39 trying to enter, goes in deep, clips the 12 almost, gets loose coming out of the corner, tries to save it, slides back up the track. 33 and the 10 and the 25 get involved. 39 gets clipped by the 10. 25 goes around. There's just carnage ever. 29 involved. 38, 6, 7. There's too many cars to call out there, but yeah, I'm seeing Tyler Beelander, Wesley Jeanette, Austin Walton, Isaac Brock, Dakota Ramsdale, David Mayo, Jovi Ray, all having red marks on my SDK, so a lot of cars involved in this one. And Chad, that's going to put even more cars that we didn't think had fast repairs or have already been involved in incidents still out here. But for the leader, Nick Gowan, Chad, this it could have been smart for him, I guess. If it continues to happen like this, now we've got 15 laps to go. We'll probably go back green here with about 12 or 13 laps to go. Nick's sitting out front on old tires. He's got Dakota or Devontae Peterson sitting second, who was able to get by Ryan Crooks. Cole Martin only made up 1 or 2 positions, Chad, and is up to P4 on those fresh tires, even though we only went about a half a lap there. So
yeah, I mean, now he's going to be starting on the outside of row 2, which, you know, Nick Gowan could take, which obviously would give a good advantage to the 31 because he's got the leader right in front of him and he can go when he goes. But
I would not do
if
that.
the 31 can stay with the 2 on the outside, I mean, I got to give that position right there to the 31 coming out of 2, and then
It'll put the 5 on the outside.
Yeah, but I'm saying if the 31 can stay with the 2 on the restart, he'll be on his outside going through turns 1 and 2, and obviously coming out of 2, 31's going to get and that would put him in P3, and he would have we're going to go back green with probably 12 laps to go. That would give him 12, 11
Gives
laps.
him plenty of time if we stay green.
Oh yeah, and he's definitely going to
If
be
we
running
stay green.
faster than the 5 and the 3. So,
But the 3 can
31
get the
could
big
get
jump.
there.
That's where the advantage goes to the leader. He can get that big jump and try to get away from these guys as the 31 tries to make the passes on the 2 and the 5, who, I mean, the 2's been fast even with his damage, but he's on much older tires compared to the 31. The 5, I mean, if the 2 can follow the 3 and break away, it'll be a lot more difficult. But if the 5 gets a good jump with the 3 and the 31 can get to the outside, then yeah, I definitely put that there. But Bill Hells is sitting right there in P5, Shad, and he's going to be on fresh tires too, along with the 12.
Our 2 silent guys that we were talking about in the pre-race, the 53 and the 23, both here towards the end of the race find themselves in the top 10. And not to mention, Kurt, that 21 of Nathan Mon used that fast repair and made it through the wreck, finds himself in 8th place too. So he showed speed when he was up front before he got wrecked. He could make his way up through the field as well. So this thing ain't over.
Yeah, Nathan Mon starting in P3 of this race, so obviously has some short run speed. We've got 13 to go, now 12 to go when we go to this restart. Pace car down, green flag in the air. 3 gets a giant jump on the field, Chad. 5 holding back to 31, which is what I thought would happen. The 2 gets side by side with the 5, blocking the 31 from making a move. What can the 31 do here? Gets a little loose coming off the corner. 5 getting a big run of speed down.
He's hitting the wall. 31 in the wall going down the backstretch. Does able to save it. Not much damage.
No
But
caution
just
either.
lost probably 10 positions right there. Oh, and now we're wrecking on the front stretch. 39, 23, and 12.
39 has been about 5 cautions tonight. We'll go take a look and see what happens on this latest caution.
Yeah, it's not good.
Well, we'll take a look here as the 39 goes
not good.
3 wide and runs right into the door of the 23, putting him up in the wall into the 12. And all 3 of those cars getting some pretty good damage. Not sure what the 39 was doing there. That was a very aggressive move on a restart. I get he's got fresh tires. I get he wants to go to the front. But 3 wide on this track is not a smart move. I mean, he had the groove, I guess. It is a car width down there, but not on exit. As soon as you go to exit, that thing shoots you towards the wall. And 3 car wide, it just doesn't work. So
Yeah, I mean, it's aggressive.
we are towards the end of the race. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of think it's on the 23, actually, watching it back. He does come down a little bit. Now, granted, obviously they're 3 wide, but
I think
39
he
was
actually made
kind
contact with the 12 first. The 23 did, and he
Yeah,
bounced off of it and came
Jose
down the
was-
track.
Yeah, he was kind of, a little wiggly there.
I
trying
don't
to
think he
stay off
expected the
car
39 to
top.
be there either.
Well, no, but obviously with 2 cars side by side, your exits aren't going to be good. And the 39 got a better exit and got underneath them. And to me, that's just kind of a racing deal. But, I mean, we're coming down to, 10 laps to go. Guys are trying to get whatever they can. And unfortunately, it's going to ruin Jose's day. But somebody that does benefit, obviously, is Nick Gowan. And it looks like 7 of Chris Murphy and my sleeper pick curve 44. Brandon Watkins now finding themselves back up into the top 10. I think you're muted, Kurt.
Yes, I am. But yeah, so I was looking here. I was talking about my wild card pick of the 5 still being here in the top 3. I didn't say he would win the race, but I said he would be my wild card to finish in the top 3. And obviously, my first, second, and third picks are all 3 in the top 3 right now. But your pick of Brandon Watkins, the wild card, is still sitting there in P8. Our other picks of Nate Mon still there as well in P6. The guy on the freshest tires, though, Shad, is going to be Sean Walton sitting in P5 on 13-lap old tires with Nathan Mon, John Osborne, and Brandon Watkins all sitting back there. But Nate Mon still has damage on the front end, the front bumper, Shad, so I don't know how much of a contender he'll be. Ryan Crooks has damage on the front bumper as well. Nick Gowan has has hood damage. The cleanest car in the entire top 5 is that 5 car, Shad, of Devontae Peterson and Bill Hills in the 53.
Yeah, looking at Mons, he did touch a car on that last caution, but compared to Ryan Crooks and Nick Gowan, his car's clean. Looking at it there, so I think he should still speed. But Sean Walton having freshest tires, and that 10 car was fast in practice, so Sean can make his way up, that's for sure. But I mean, we got a handful of laps, Kurt, and I'm hoping we can get this thing green to the end.
I don't know if we'll get to the end without another caution, Shad, but pace car is going to duck on down. We'll go into the restart zone with the 3 and the 2. And back under green we are as the green flag is waving now as we go into turn 1 with the 3 and the 2. leading the field into turn 1
Yeah, the 2 of Ryan Crooks actually was almost going to jump the restart, had to get out of it and let the 3 go. And that gave the 3 a good jump. But Ryan Crooks with those little bit fresher of tires, as we got a record, I think. Maybe they saved it. 81 Osborne found himself in the wall going into turn 3. And he's going back in the wall now. I think something is broke on that 81 machine.
Well, he's hanging in there. So
And the
it's
3 of
definitely driving to the
Gallagher,
rock.
slow on the backstretch. What's going on?
He's not out of fuel, is he?
Let me go back.
He's
and
really
oh.
slow.
No, he gets loose coming out of turn 2, Kurt.
Well, this is going to hand the lead over to Ryan Crooks now with 4 to go, coming to 3 to go. Nick Gowan, your leader, goes to dead last in the field. Ryan Crooks out front. Devontae Peterson sitting second. Bill Hell's third. Brandon Watkins in the 44 in the Dollar General. Getting loose, spins across the nose of the 33. Spins down the front stretch, does a 360, and stays in the gas shed. Will he stay in the green? Nope, gets spun up towards the wall now. And we should have another caution out on the track as the 44 is dead on the front stretch. Whew. And we've got now 3 to go, so we're going to have a green-white checker, Shad, when we come back for this.
Oh, wow.
There was a lot of guys
going
loose
on
there.
there.
Yeah.
It sounds like John Osborne saying that he didn't know it, but he must have broke a toe link as he went into
His
the turn.
car
and it
was
just
driving
would
to the
not-
right.
Yeah, it just would not turn. So that's what stacked all that up. But then Nick Gowan getting loose coming off of turn 2, Kurt found himself in the inside wall, and that's what happened to him. And handed over the lead to Ryan Crooks. But Ryan was running away there. Now he's going to have to fight him off again for this green-white checkered, as that is now our 16th caution
17th.
for
Well, 16th.
well,
incident.
16th for actual incident. So
Going back and looking at the 3 car, you can see he gets loose, but it's a weird one, Chad. I've seen this now twice tonight, and I'm not sure what's going on there. As we go to the far chase mode, you see the 3 come off the turn, and the back end kicks to the right and turns him to the wall. So
yeah, that's what that is he got loose coming off the turn. That's why the back right kicked out. He tried to save it by turning to the right, which is what everyone
the old
used to
ones.
do. But with the pinion, if you turn too far to the right, it just instantly corrects, and your car ends up just going straight right, and that's what ended up to him. And found himself in that wall, and then bounced off into the inside wall. And I think Nick Gallenkert finally used that fast repair.
yeah, we'll see if he can drive back up through the field.
Well, he's not going to have many laps to do it, and he's going to find himself way in the back of the pack. But
And now we're looking at the 44. Brandon Watkins getting just a little loose coming off of turn 4, slides right across the nose of Jovi Rayshad and turns down to the inside of the field. Comes back across, spins, saves it, and then the 22 of Jason Blaney clips his bumper, rips the front bumper off the 22, and turns the 44 back into the wall. 44 doesn't look like he has a ton of damage on it either, but the 22,
just in the rear.
yeah, lost the front bumper on that one. So definitely a heavy carnage type track tonight with this. But up front, Chad, Ryan Crooks in the 2 with heavy damage to the front end. Devontae Peterson with a clean car in the 5, sitting there in P2. And Bill Hells in P3, up 25 positions. But he's got Jovi Ray, who's got a little damage on the front end from that car sliding across his nose there. And then the 21 with some damage on the front end where the splitters lifted up a little bit. Chris Murphy sitting there in P6. He's got a little damage on the right side from that incident that he was involved in a couple cautions ago there. Dakota Ramsdale sitting in P7. He's been involved in a couple incidents tonight. Tyler Belanger now up into P8. He's been involved in a couple incidents on and off the track on pit road. Cole Martin now up here as well, Shad, fighting for P10 with Andrew Bolander in the 29, who's been involved in several incidents as well tonight.
Yeah, and then you look 2 rows back, 23. Jose was in a caution 2 cautions ago.
Yeah.
Finds himself up here in 12th.
He
So
could still get another P10 or top 10.
And is that Mike Campbell?
It
in
is.
14th.
It's Papa Bear Campbell, the
Actually
71
16th.
Ford.
Sitting in 16th right now. So pretty good run by Mike Campbell at a very difficult track. So
He's only been involved
we're
in
about
one
to go
incident.
green curve for this green-white checkered. Is it our last one?
I don't know. I can't call it. Can't put
Can
my
these
finger on it.
boys make it back around to the white flag?
Pace cars down pit road. Ryan Crooks going into the restart zone, getting on the gas pedal first. Devontae Peterson diving down. Is that going to be considered switching lanes before the finish line, Chad? I am not sure. It looks like he may have swapped down.
He's good. I think he's good.
I don't know. They're usually pretty stickler on it. He's been busted for it once already this season.
Look at the 33, Jovi Ray Kurt up to 3rd. Oh, and caution's out.
And who's it this time?
71,
And
Papa
that's
Bear.
Papa?
I jinxed him.
He did it. Not me.
I did it. I did it.
We'll back it up and take a look and see what happened to Papa Bear, as Shad just gave him praise for a top 15 run. So it looks like he goes into turn 3 and 4. Gets ready to come out of turn 3 and 4. And gets run over, Shad, by the 45 as the 71 was trying to get off the gas from the 35 of David Mayo spinning. And the 45 just runs over the 71. So I don't think that's on the 71. I think the 35 got loose and was spinning, and the 71 was trying to get off the gas. And unfortunately, the 45 did not see that and ran him over.
Yeah, the 12 ended up in the wall, Kurt, in front of the 35. 35 checked up, then the 71 checked up. And
The accordion
45
effect
ran.
was in play. But yeah, we're going to rack 'em and stack 'em and go again for a green-white checkered, as Ryan Crooks is going to be your leader right now with Devontae Peterson second. Jovi Ray, though, Shad, getting big jumps on these restarts. He's now up to P3. Bill Hell's sitting there in P4. Will start on the outside behind Devontae. Whoa, and the 45 just drove through the 2 car. Not sure what happened there. No damage, but the 45 definitely just went through the 2 car.
Yeah, I don't know what
Now
happened
the
there.
45 going to the back. So
38, Nathan Line, Kurt, gonna get that lucky dog from Alexandria Customs once again. This race gonna find himself back on the lead lap.
Yep, that Lucky Dog Award going to Nathan Line for about the 3rd or 4th time tonight, Shad.
It might be like the 7th, because he was like 4 or 5 laps down, and I think he's gotten
I
it
think he
twice.
took the wave around a couple times too.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but Joey Ray has finished top 3, Kurt, in what, the last 4 races?
I think he's finished in the top 3 in every race except for... No, because when we went to Road America, he was P3. He would have had P2 if somebody else wasn't in the race. And then last week was P2. The week prior was P3. The week prior was P3 again. So, yeah, I think he's finished in the top 5 every week.
Yeah, and I think I said in the pre-race show that he seems to always find speed at the end or find himself there at the end. And
Well, he almost
Here we
didn't
are.
because he had a car
Yeah.
sliding across his hood a few minutes ago.
here we are at our second attempt on the green-white checkered, and he's up into P3, so he should get it. Oh, it looks like leader Ryan Crooks going to choose the outside this time, Kurt. So unfortunate for Jovi Ray, as he's not going to get that advantage of being behind the leader.
But Bill
That
Hell's
outside line, Kurt, yeah, the outside line should get going, as Devontae struggled a little bit on that last time. He's going to have to learn from that.
And Ryan
realize
Crooks and Jovi Ray are teammates, Shad. So maybe that was a planned, I'm not going to let you get to me because I know you're fast right now. So
Hey, there's no team when it comes down to 3 laps to go.
Yeah.
But
team stuff is out the window.
another person I see up there, Kurt, that 31, Cole Martin, found himself. He's back up to P7 starting on that outside road. So he can make something happen here. Not saying he's going to get to the lead, but he might be able to get up into the top 5. Another car, too. Chris Murphy finding himself back up in there after being involved in a wreck. At this point, Kurt,
It's anyone's game.
no, I'm going to say at this point, has anyone not been in a wreck?
I haven't seen the 5.
That's true. Devontae might be the only one, and maybe Bill Hales.
No, Bill. Yeah, Bill wasn't in one. I thought it was Bill, but it was Jason Blaney.
Yeah, So Devontae looking really good. Obviously, a great run for him. Has shown speed during the season and just hasn't gotten the results. But it's good to see him up here again. As you see, Bill Helskert right on that bumper of that 2 of Ryan Crooks, trying to get that restart. Oh, Ryan Cooks jumps it, Kurt. Right there, Ryan Cooks jumped that restart. He went before the box. That should be under review.
I don't know. I'll have to take a look at that one, but I'm not sure who looks at it right now. But the 5 under fire right now from the 53 and 33 as they're battling on the inside of each other. 5 going up to the wall. Caution is out again, Chad.
Yeah, Ryan Crooks, Kurt.
It's
I
a
don't know
6.
if the admins are looking at that, but Ryan Cooks jumped that restart. It was before the box.
Well, let's go back and take a look for ourselves. Well, we're right behind the 2 cars. They come around turn 3 and 4 for this restart, and we'll see where the 2 decided to leave. I don't know what the ruling is. I thought it was within the box, and you could choose to go as soon as you hit the box, or you can wait till the end of the box. But if you wait past the box, then the outside car can go.
Yeah, if you go
It's close,
to
Chad.
Blimp, if you go to Blimp and watch it, that car is going before that double line, the double white line going across the track.
I think it's too close to call on that one, Chad.
I
Going
don't.
into the cockpit, I don't hear him get into the gas.
Oh, you can see the jump in Blimp mode.
Yeah, but if you watch the RPMs on his screen, I don't think he jumps. I think he hits it and then hits the gas. Yeah, I don't think he jumped the shot. I think he clipped the gas pedal, let off, and then hit the gas.
Watch those RPMs. They're sitting just above 4. Before that white line, they're going up.
It's super close. I don't know if it's callable. They'd have to go back and break it down, but
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the rule is either, but if they are doing it, he definitely jumped it in my book. But
it's close. I'll say that. I think it's worth a review, but
I'm trying to pull for your sleeper here.
yeah, but I'm not trying to take it away on a half-foot determination there, and I don't know. I mean, it looks like he at the cockpit. If you're sitting in the driver's seat, Chad, it looks like he's on the line when he hits the gas, but outside of the car, he might be a couple feet from it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see it live.
I
so
think iRacing calls it, though, if you jump it before the restart.
Well, I don't know with Rockingham because Rockingham didn't have a restart box.
Yeah,
so,
but it is in the game, or the simulation, so
yeah, it's on there, but yeah, I don't know.
I think iRacing would call it if he jumped it.
Yeah, if it's on here, it should have called it because to me, that's. I mean,
It's about
to
as
me,
close
he's
as you
at
can
least.
get.
I don't know. To me, he's at least 5 feet from the line when he starts pulling away.
Well, it
But
didn't
I
necessarily
don't know.
change anything either because they wrecked out of turn 2. So, but we'll go again and pay attention to it. Maybe somebody can tell Ryan to wait another 5 feet or something from what you were
Yeah,
seeing. But on my screen, it looks like he is damn near on that line from the driver's seat. Obviously, from outside of it, it does look a little further from the line. But from the driver's seat, you can't see the line. So, I mean, you can't tell where your front end is, but I would say it's close.
Yeah.
Plus, his front end's
NASCAR.
dented too, Shad. So,
NASCAR officials can see the line. That's the thing.
I would say if his front end wasn't pushed into the front, the car would have been on the line. But we're going to go for another restart. Devontae Peterson going to be starting the outside in front of Jovi Ray, Shad. 53 of Bill Hell is going to have that inside line jump. Obviously, Ryan Crooks playing something with his teammates, swapping from top to bottom every time Jovi's behind him. So maybe he knows Jovi's got a fast car right now. Same with Nathan Mon, and he's got cars in between them.
Now, Kurt, is that our last green white checkered?
I don't know. I'm not even going to call it. But they're in 3 and 4. Pace car is coming out of 4 now. Going to duck down pit road, and we'll have another restart here. Ryan Crooks entering restart zone now and going. So he
That
waited
one's
about
good.
15 feet.
That one's good. But Devontae Peterson gets a good jump too.
Wow, it's
Gonna
an amazing
hold
jump.
hold on to that second position. Jovi Ray on the outside of Bill Hill is going to get third spot. Tight back there for fifth as the 7 of Chris Murphy's on the outside of 21. Can they make it back to the line? I think they might.
7 with a big run to the 53 makes it back to the line for P3.
We're 3 wide for P4, and
They're not going to make it.
and
Chris Murphy's in the wall, staying green though.
21 gets
Oh,
into
Murphy's
the
sliding out.
7.
Ryan Crooks though leading him into turn 3 and 4 with the lead coming out. Will be
Back up
going back
front
to the
there.
start.
Ryan Crooks going to get the win, followed by Jovi Ray, who's going to finish the bridesmaid again. Devontae Peterson, your sleeper, Kurt.
I
comes
told
home
you.
P3. Hey, that's a
called
great
that
run. Devontae showed speed, but if you go back, Kurt, for the battle of 4th place, 21 of Nathan Maughan drives it in way too deep and gets into the 7 of Chris Murphy and just spins him. It also gets Tyler Belanger.
Well, we're coming back around for the burnout from Ryan Crooks. We'll watch the burnout and come back for the interviews of the top 3. Ryan Crooks and Joey Ray, your maid of honor again, Chad. And Devontae Peterson will now be our bridesmaid, finishing P3. But Ryan Crooks getting his second win of the season is going to help him in the points, Chad, being P15 of the points. So we'll be back after this burnout from Ryan Crooks. All right, back here with the top 3 in Velocity Motorsports for race number 6 in the books at the Rock in Rockingham, North Carolina. We've got this one done, and the 2-car of Ryan Crooks coming away as our first multi-winner of the season. Ryan, this was a eventful survival carnage style race. You had some damage on the front bumper. Your front bumper is definitely dented in. Looks like you hit a telephone pole at some point, which I would say was difficult, but with many crashes as tonight, maybe not. But you come away with this thing, you get the win. It's your second win of the season. How does it feel, and how did you accomplish this survival tactics at the Rock?
Yeah, certainly super chaotic race. Didn't get in here and get to practice a lot, so but I've raced here in a couple other leagues last year, so kind of got a good feel for the track. Kind of know how to try to save speed for the long run. Of course, we didn't get a lot of long runs, but the intermediate short runs, guys are pushing really hard, so tire wear short certainly came in to play a little bit, but got caught up in some wrecks. Didn't even use a fast repair. Still have another one down that I could have used, so taking that one home with us. But yeah, just try to survive and be smart in traffic. It's just really hard in traffic because it's a smaller track. There's a lot of banking in the corners, but it levels off really quick on the exit, so car wants to snap loose, so you just try to set the exits up to try to have a good run out of the corner. But yeah, thankfully it worked out. I hate the 3 got taken out in an earlier wreck with a guy stopped on the track that I guess lost steering, and there wasn't a caution thrown, so we're just all racing back full speed, and the 3 gets taken out and has to use a fast repair, and Tyler got taken out coming to pits, and it was really chaotic, man. It was like a figure 8 tonight, and yeah, hopefully if it holds up, we took it home, and yeah, it was a great race. Well, not a great race, but it worked out for us, so we'll take it.
Well, Ryan, you find yourself the first real repeat winner of the season at a track that was really difficult for tonight. We've seen a record amount of cautions for Velocity Motorsports. You yourself found yourself in some contact with the 39 early on in the race, and then actually had a pretty good sized dent on your front end. But with those newer tires that you had, those guys in front of you, you find yourself in the lead. I guess just talk to the people that are watching about how difficult this track was, and did you ever really have a problem with it snapping loose on you?
Yeah, it's a very difficult track, kind of like earlier. It's really flat on the straightaways, and then when you get into the corners, there's so much banking for a small track. It's almost reminds you of a Bristol, but it's a lot longer than Bristol, so you carry a lot more speed into the corners, and because of the banking, you're really able to carry the speed and get back in the gas earlier. But when it flattens off on exits on 2 and 4, it really wants to turn around on you. Yeah, we got into the 39 right before the first stage break. I ran him down, and a couple laps before I'd let him go. He was pushing a lot harder than me, so I told him to go low. He went low. I ran him down about 7 or 8 laps later, and I think he likes the scheme on my car because he chose to race and hang near me, and almost wrecked himself a couple times. And he kind of threw a couple blocks that I felt like at that point of the race really we shouldn't be throwing. And I got a run on him coming out of 4, and I was under him, and he kind of comes down, and I'm already there. And after 3 or 4 laps going back and forth like that, you kind of get to the point where it's like, all right, if I keep lifting, I'm really doing myself more harm. Like I let him go, I'm like, maybe he'll cut me loose. And I don't know, probably 40 or 50 laps later, I come back up on him again and get another good run on him. And he had just let 2 cars go, and like I said, I got Zen on the side of the car tonight. It's a sweet pace game. I think he likes looking at it, so raced it super hard again, and then he lost it out of 4 and came down and turned across me and knocked me through the grass, and I held on to it. And yeah, but it's a very challenging racetrack. We had a lot of cars in here tonight, and I've been in probably worse races than this, but this is definitely a very, very, very challenging track. The front stretch bows around the side, so you get these huge runs coming out of the corner, and you got to arc it through, the front stretch. It's so wide, you can really go 3-4 wide, and then when you get to the corner, it really funnels everything to the top. So very challenging racetrack, and you really got to watch your line, throttle input, especially on exits, to make sure you don't do more harm on the long run. And hopefully we are the for real 2-time repeat champion, or race winner of the season. I think I'm under review for one of the restarts, but yeah, it was a wild race. Hopefully it holds up, and we'll move on to Michigan. Know we got a lot of speed there, and it's a pretty good track for me.
Ryan, you definitely bring it home for the win as of now, but I don't know if they're officially reviewing you. We just assumed they would be reviewing it, but you got the new paint scheme tonight. You bring home the second win of the season, second different paint scheme. Are we going to see a third different paint scheme at some point?
Yeah, we might have to bring a third one out. Just depends.
Just keep changing the paint scheme as you get a win.
Yeah, I got to keep changing it up. Yeah, it was yeah, hopefully we're all good. At least hopefully if it was under review on the second one, I wish a call would have been made. That way I could go back in the back and restart. And with all the cautions, we had 3 green, white, checkered attempts. It's pretty good on the restart, so probably wouldn't have got a win, but I'd have been able to kind of work my way back up to a top 10. But yeah, Zen's on the car this week. Yeah, we'll have to shop around for another scheme. If anybody's out there looking to throw a sponsor on the car, we're open. Jump on board. Let's get dubs.
All right, Ryan, any shout-outs for you?
Yeah, thank you guys for, broadcasting the race, and Tyler for putting the league on. He kind of got destroyed on a really unfortunate situation, and he was really fast, and, the 3 got taken out. But, yeah, thanks, Race Control and Tyler for putting the league on. You guys for sticking with us on a night like tonight. Super hard track, and not a lot of give and take, but you guys hung in there with us, and definitely appreciate that. And yeah, just hopefully, look forward to next week, have a good run, and clean things up, get some green flag runs in, put on a good show.
All right, well, that's tonight's winner at Rockingham. That is Ryan Crooks in the 2 in that new Zen paint scheme. We'll see if he brings out another one for Michigan. But we'll move on to second place finisher, our resident maid of honor, Jovi Ray in the 33. Jovi, you might want to start thinking about switching your paint scheme at this point, because you finished second now. I think this is your 3rd or 4th time already in this season, and 6 races, and you missed the first race this season. So 5 races, I think you finished in the top 3 in all of those races, unless you missed one. But you kind of got shot out of a cannon on those last 2 restarts, where you made up some positions and you put yourself in contention here. You make the pass on the 5 of Devontae Peterson in the last lap and come around to the finish line and get P2 again. What does what did it take for you to get through here? Because I believe you were involved in an incident tonight as well. Among, I think, the entire field, besides maybe the 5, was involved in at least one incident tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I have no clue how I'm in second right now. Just before those 2 restarts, I had wasted my fast repair and got killed, and the seas parted, and I was in 5th at one point, and then we got to another restart. I was battling for top 3. If I maybe had like 2 more laps, I think I would have got to Crooks. I had the freshest tires. I wasted my last set. Yeah, I'm getting sick and tired of these second places.
Well, the good thing, Jovi, second place pays pretty good as far as points. I called it in the pre-race show that, you haven't had the greatest of starts, but you somehow find the speed during the race, or find your groove, and find yourself in the top 3 at the end of these things. And once again, you prove us right and find yourself second. Is that kind of what happened with you, or qualifying? Did you hit the wall, and or you just didn't put down a lap, and then you found the space whenever we actually were green to kind of work your way up through the field?
Yeah, I mean, I was just super slow there in practice. I was like, it's not even worth qualifying, and I get myself wrecked. So I was just like, let me just sit in the back and let everyone just kind of slowly take themselves out one by one. But I got caught in them. But there are a couple of those few long runs, I started reeling people in, but then the cautions would come out, which kind of just would like screw me over. Maybe if we had a long green flag run with some green flag pit stops, I think I would have been up there longer. But it is what it is. I'll take it.
Well, Jovi, I mean, we're headed to Michigan next. What are you feeling like when we head to Michigan? I know Darlington's still creeping up through the schedule here, and I know that's the race you've got circled. But we've got Michigan next week. It's kind of a track where you pretty much hold it wide open for some of the run. You might have to burp it a couple times throughout the run as well. But how were you at Michigan in these next-gen cars?
Never raced them there once, but
So you're going to start in
be
the back
honest-
again and finish P2 again?
nah, it might be time to actually qualify for once. It's a big enough track. I just don't want to get caught in the back having the clutch and save fuel if it turns into one of those. I'd rather be at the front with the pack, and hopefully I have decent speed. I like that track. I feel like these next gens kind of remind me of an Xfinity car, and I'm pretty good in those. So hopefully it'll translate again.
Any shout-outs for you in that 33 DeWalt machine?
Shout out to you guys, of course, with the broadcast. No, it was pretty hectic. Shout out to Tyler. I hope he's alright. I know he's getting a little frustrated, but it's just a lot of short track racing. Shout out to the boys, Cole, Nate, Jake, and Nick. Sorry they had bad runs, but all in all, shout out to everyone else in the field.
All right, well, we're going to pass you off and send you back down, and we'll talk to our third-place finisher. My sleeper pick for finishing in the top 3 tonight was the 5 in that Kellogg's Terry Labonte throwback. Devontae, this is your first time here up into the top 3 at the end of the night in the post-race. Just a great race by you. I think you were one of the only clean cars tonight in the field. I don't see any damage whatsoever on your car. I don't know if you had to use a fast repair, but in my opinion, one of the cleanest cars. I just somehow expected you to be fast tonight when we went into the talking about, picks or sleeper picks or whatever. I just felt like you've been really fast in a lot of races this season. You had some bad luck at one of the races where they called you for a black flag. I wish you would have stayed in that race, because with the amount of cautions that came in after that, you would have been back on the lead lap and been able to have a good finish. But you come out tonight, and for some reason, I just felt like that Terry Labonte paint scheme drew me to you to call you as a sleeper pick for finishing the top 3. What happened throughout this race, and how did you come home with a clean car and finish in the top 3?
Honestly, man, I think this race was a war of attrition. It was pretty much a wreck fest. Ironically, you said the car is clean. I finished with a 6X. I never used the fast repair, so I was just kind of hoping that the car was in decent shape. It was still fast. Got to be honest with you, man. I spent more of the day trying to get my rig set up, just been adding to my rig, and so I didn't get a lot of practice today. And I practiced a little bit throughout the week, so I wasn't expecting a ton this week. But the car came to me. Car kind of came to life, especially on new tires. I felt pretty fast. The restarts were just hectic. So I really just think it was a war of attrition. Like you said, we were one of the only ones not to get caught up in some mess. We got some fender benders, but I managed to miss all the big chaos. And I mean, there was a lot of near misses for me, so it wasn't like I wasn't there. And just, sometimes you end up on the right side of those. So.
Well, Devontae, we've seen you in the races you done so far. You've shown speed, in pretty much every single one of them. Just have not got the finishes, and now here tonight you're pretty much in the top 10. Most of the night we were, commenting on you being up in there and seeing that Kellogg's throwback. I guess tell the fans that I think you had a spectator, but I guess let the fans know how good it is to finally come away with a good finish and ended up here on the 3rd step of the podium.
Yeah. Sometimes it's, honestly, what's been killing me is qualifying. So finally getting a top 10 qualifying spot and just kind of being there. You don't have a shot if you're not there. We saw so many yellow flag laps. Tires didn't get worn down as much, and gas or fuel wasn't a huge issue. So really, I was just my whole thought was just don't get caught up in the wrecks, and things will work out. And honestly, there, man, I was really hoping that Nick Gowen and our winner Ryan were going to get caught up in some mess. And to be honest, it happened, but Ryan made it through there. Otherwise, I think I might have been able to sneak one out of here and with a W. But it feels really good to get a good top 5 finish, especially after the Dover situation. We're kind of fighting our way back into the playoff standing. So usually we're right there, but top 5 is. Can't beat that, so I'll take it, especially at a track I'm not super familiar with. So,
yeah, Devontae, you're currently sitting in the top 13 in points, so this is definitely going to help you as you finished in front of everybody that's in front of you in the points besides Jovi.
Wow.
Ryan's actually behind you, so but yeah, everybody in front of you in the points besides Jovi, who finished one position in front of you, you finished in front of them by multiple positions. So that's definitely going to help you tonight in the points, and I think it might kickstart you into a good streak here. I like seeing that Terry Labonte paint scheme. I was a Bobby Labonte halfway fan, so Terry, obviously, we lived in, me and Chad lived in Texas and been to Texas Motor Speedway multiple times. Been seeing the Terry Labonte and the Bobby Labonte cars parked out in the pond there. But definitely a great race by you. Any shout-outs for you?
Yeah, definitely shout out to my lady, my family watching, Pops and Nana Peterson, all my friends who support me and watch my races, and all my boys. A big shout out to my spotter, Tanner Stevenson. He had a little family situation tonight, so he couldn't make it. I know he's going to be thrilled to find out where we finished tonight, and he's probably going to be pretty upset he wasn't here to, check it out. So, shout out to all of them.
All right, well, that's going to take us to the end of the post race. Shad, this was an eventful race to say the least here. Winds up with 18 incident cautions, 1 caution for the stage, which doesn't count towards the incident cautions, but a lot more cautions than we're used to seeing here in Velocity. I think it's not the drivers. I think it was the track itself, and maybe guys not being completely familiar with it. I know we heard the car wasn't handling the same as some other cars like the trucks or the Xfinity cars, but still put on a great race. We had a lot of lead changes, a lot of guys making passes, a lot of guys running different lines, guys diving it deep into the corner and making passes, guys letting off and rolling it through the corner and carrying the momentum. There was just a lot of different atmosphere, things that were happening here at this track that it just brought some good racing. So I'm looking forward to going to Michigan. I know it's a track you like. You liked on console. I know you like it in some other series, but Michigan's a fun track to go to with guys holding it wide open for most of the race.
Yeah, I think tonight, I kind of expected it. I knew this track, Rockingham, was going to be difficult to get these cars to go around, and I said it in the pre-race show. It comes down to throttle input and control and being patient with it. And I think a lot of our cautions probably could have been avoided if guys would have taken the time and just waited to get it, going and not be so aggressive on cold tires. But it's kind of expected here. I knew turn 2 was going to be really hard for everyone. It's just, it's a difficult turn to go from that much banking to just flat. And 3 and 4, it's not as bad, but it's still loose. But what we could get grain was great racing. We see a lot of battling up front. Unfortunately, some of the faster cars got taken out. But either way, it was a good show. Glad that Devontae finished up in the top 3. He definitely needed it, and we've seen him all season so far have tons of speed and not get the finish. So to finally come out tonight and get that finish, it's definitely going to help him. And with a lot of playoff guys, or guys that are currently in the playoff standings, having a lot of issues tonight, it's going to tighten up the points for that. I mean, look at the guy that's leading the points. Nick Allen, doesn't have the greatest of nights, even though he does win the stage.
Cole won the stage.
Oh yeah, Cole won the stage. So yeah, Nick's gonna lose probably some points to some people. It's gonna tighten the points back up, and then next week Michigan, wide track, fast track, draft track for sure. If you lose the draft, you're gonna be screwed. If you can get away from it, if you're the leader, you're golden because everyone else will be fighting side by side, and you'll get to pull away. But I feel like with Michigan, it's going to be probably guys on the bottom to start the runs, and then the cars will probably maybe start to work their way to the top line because you can just carry so much more momentum, and it doesn't really affect the speed as far as your lap time on older tires. But yeah, I love Michigan Auto Club. They're like the same track basically, and yeah, I can't wait. I think it'll be a lot cleaner than tonight, that's for sure. Because tonight was pretty much a fluke, and these guys never have that many cautions. At least any races that me and you have called, we've never seen that many. So look forward to going to a little bit easier of a track, and hopefully the cautions will go away and we can get back on track and keep the countdown going for the playoffs. As we're over halfway through the regular season, Kurt. It's getting down to the nitty gritty of getting your points and finding yourself in the top 12. And I think next week, since I called this week, we were going to have a repeat winner. I'm going to say now, a week in advance, next week we have a new winner.
I don't know. It'll be close, so we'll see what happens next week, but we appreciate you guys out there in the viewership in the chat. I know we had about 30 or 40 people watching this from the multi-platforms that we're streaming to. Appreciate all the chats and things like that, people rooting for their family and friends. And we'll come back next Tuesday for Michigan here at Velocity Motorsports for race number 7. I'll be back Monday night for AER for the second race or the second round of the playoffs starting, where Nick Gowan is over there as well in the trucks leading that series. And we'll see how that one goes, but appreciate everybody, and we'll be back next week.